My name is Scott Reister. I'm the creator of North American Racing League, also a NARL Porsche Cup driver, broadcasted live by Pit Stop TV.
Hi, my name is John Sedlak, and I race for Firelight Esports in North American Racing League. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/diesel_dad.
Hello, I am Dino Filippa, sim racer from Argentina, current champion, and I will be competing in the championship for the ERS team and also providing the data for each race for the participant drivers.
Hey guys, I'm Marco Saavedra, and I'm a NARL Porsche Cup driver representing Infinite Racing Services. I'm a race winner and multiple podium finisher on the last NARL GT3 season, so I'll be working to get even better results this championship on a different car. See you all on track.
Hi guys, I am Ricardo Rico from Spain. I drive with Zenit Esports and I will be doing this Porsche Cup season in the North American Racing League. I hope you can catch with us on the Pit Stop TV broadcast and we will try to give you a good show. See ya!
Hi, my name is Lubov. I'm full-time streamer, content creator, ambassador for Master and Excel Racing. And also, I'm North American Racing League Porsche Cup driver.
Hey guys, my name's Ryan Kerr. Looking forward to racing in NARL, broadcast by Pit Stop TV again this season. This time in the pro category after last season's good result. Racing again with Mirandas. Looking forward to seeing everybody out on track.
Hi, my name is David Schwartz. I'm 36 years old. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm representing the Mirandas M Squad. In real life, I'm the 2018 D Street Las Vegas region autocross champion, also an STCA time trial winner, and I've been sim racing for about 6 years.
Hi, I am Dalton Zavidal, driver for SimCity Racing and North American Racing League Porsche Cup driver. I am the 2021 Colorado Karting Tour iRacing Winter Series champion and the 2022 Season 1 Porsche Cup Pro-Am champion.
Olá, meu nome é Jackson Rezende, faço parte da Texaco Race by TK e sou piloto da North American Race League Porsche Cup.
Hey guys, Bruno Do Carmo here from Texaco Racing by TK, Pro World Championship license back in 2017, and now I'm a North American Racing League Porsche Cup driver.
Hello guys, my name is Gustavo Ariel and I'm Texaco Racing by Tony Canan driver, and I'll be driving on the North American Racing League Porsche Cup Championship. Let's go.
Sebring is built from leftover airfields so many years ago, but the Long Beach street circuit evolved over decades to take over downtown and run seaside in picture-perfect Southern California, making it the perfect scene for the North American Racing League Porsche Cup Season 3, Act 9. It's the NARL bonus race with a bit extra on the line this time around. Welcome to Pit Stop TV. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and now that the season has played out and champions are crowned, it is time for a bit of fun at this legendary street course. Checking in at just under 2 miles in length, there's nowhere to hide and everywhere to slip up if you're not careful this evening. We're having fun in the sun in Southern California. Let's get into the sim and get trackside this evening as we join you for a very special presentation this North American Racing League season. Here's a look at the track graphic down at the bottom of the screen. Good to be here at virtual Long Beach Street Circuit in virtual Long Beach, California. It is always a good time to be here, of course, with NARL, but even more special when we can do it at Long Beach. Let's take a look at the track map coming into this evening, and you can see kind of the city grid behind the track, behind Seaside Way and whatnot, but there is the track layout in blue, and in case you're wondering why there are no streets past East Shoreline Drive, that's because it turns into water. Yes, the seaside is literally right there, hence the Shoreline Drive name. But taking a look, of course, at this Long Beach street circuit, and you can see right into the fountain, things get real tight. Maybe the tightest you'll see on the IMSA circuit, or even here in the North American Racing League season. And of course, you can sign again over at the hairpin. Everywhere in between a normal straight circuit for the most part, really tight corners. 90 degrees at turns 8 and turn 9, even turn 5, even turn 1, turn 4. So a couple of places where it's that kind of very city grid-esque corners, but we're having fun this evening for sure. We don't have a Porsche Cup lap time here, but a GT3 lap time for reference. The fastest that we could source for this event, a 1:15.594 in a Lamborghini Huracan. We're not quite going that quick this evening. We're a little closer to the USF 2000 lap records, chipping in at just under a minute 20, so a bit quicker still than a GT4 car. I mentioned champions have been crowned now in this Porsche Cup series. Let's take a look at those champions from this past season of racing. First up, the Pro Class. Ricardo Rico, of course, took that championship over Dalton Zavadil, and unfortunately, of course, Dalton then had to kind of accept that. But it was one of those things. It was very much a racing situation for Dalton, where he absolutely had the speed still to contend, but simply the racing gods were just not with him. 2 weeks ago at Sebring International Raceway, of course, his wheel malfunctioning in qualifying and throughout the race kind of made things difficult for him. Dino Filippa still a fantastic season there, as well as Gustavo Ariel and Marco Saavedra. Thomas Rayleigh, of course, dominating over in Pro-Am, although the gap did tighten a little bit right there at the end as Miguel Colon took the win at Sebring, bringing Alec Bergstrom, Aubrey Kundal a little bit closer as well, although Aubrey did drop 2 positions in the standings. Adam Hartzell, Rob Pendergast, the rest there in the top 10 in Pro. And of course, these standings brought to you by the scoring partner of the North American Racing League, Victorum. Let's take a look at our amateur standings after 8 rounds of 8. Weber Tavares on top over Ilias Speaker. There really was no doubt from the drop of the green flag in that 8th race that he would win his 5th in a row, winning the championship. I think it might have been 4th in a row, rather, not 5th in a row, but regardless, winning the entire back half of the season. You see Ilias Speaker, Joe Nagy, Bjorn Staines, Charles Hosea, the rest of the top 5. And I have to mention the battle that came down to literally a margin of no points for Samuel Bernardi, Gary Weaver, and Volker Krebs is one of the best we've seen in a long time in the North American Racing League. The way that all set up for the final race to bring all 3 of those drivers to a tie for 8th, 9th, and 10th is rather impressive, and they should each pat themselves on the back. Once again, a look there at your amateur standings, thanks to our scoring partner, Victorum, and let's get into the session. 7 minutes remaining in practice, and let's actually first talk about our Whiplash SimCams race details. This first up is a 20-minute sprint race, transferring the top 3 of each class into our 50-minute feature. We have a 50% fuel limit, no pit stops, but we are open setups all night long this evening, and we have drivers of all classes in this practice session. You can see that there on the ticker currently. only 2 pro drivers, only 3 pro drivers, only 2 Pro-Am drivers. So really the race right now is in AM, and I think that was to be expected even from when the driver lineups were released. So really the battle is in AM. Avon Dorsey currently the fastest of those AM drivers, Bjorn Stage and Jay Robinson, the other 2 currently in just by practice speeds. But of course this 20-minute sprint race is going to change things up a little bit. No pit stops or anything for these guys, and it should give us a little bit of extra time to focus on a lot of these drivers throughout the field, including Billy Bowerman in that 102 car. Let's not forget, of course, Sean Patterson back here in car 56. He has picked up. He's in the top 10 currently and 5th of the amateur drivers. Gary Weaver checks in at 6th fastest currently, having some trouble out there, but oh, that was cool. A little bit of a drift there through turn number 4. Adam Ballard also on track, and Matthew Shervick here this evening in car 23. And there is a lot to talk about this race course. We'll just go on board with some of these guys and check it out from their perspective. This is On Board with Matthew Shervick. We do have a couple of really impressive pros here, by the way. Sean Campbell, Ryan Kerr. Good to see Ryan here. We didn't see him all season. Or so it felt anyways, but he's backing up his Pro-Am championship this evening, trying to go for our all-star race, if you will, our bonus race, and he will make it in thanks to only having 3 pros in here. So Sean Campbell, Ryan Kerr, Bruno DeCarmo will race in our 15-minute race coming up. They get a little bit of extra track time here in the sprint race to make sure they're feeling nice and well oiled for that race coming up. Wayne Castile, as soon as I mentioned it, coming in clutch with some information that there was a job taken by Ryan Kerr, so he couldn't quite race all season. Glad he's here this evening. Really is good to see him here for Long Beach. Matthew Shervick on track, still watching along. Here's turn 1, a really tight zone, first of all, to begin the lap, but as you head into the fountain section, things get even tighter. Wall on your left, fountain on your right, wall on your left again, then wall on your right again, and everything just happens so quickly. When you're in a field of 12, 30, or 20, 30 cars, it really happens even that much more quickly. But in this field of 13, I think, for this sprint race, it should be relatively tame as we now shift on board with Bruno DeCarmo. Car number 69 headed down the kind of backstretch at Seaside Drive and into turn number 9, Tecate turn, and 1 car into the barriers. That was Jay Robinson. Bruno DeCarmo now through the Indy left at turn 10, riding the curbs there on the inside. You don't want to get him in 9, you can get him in 10, you can get him in 11 here for the hairpin. You've definitely got to be selective about which curbs you use this evening. You don't want to get them in turn 1. You don't want to get them in turn 4. You don't want to get them in turn 5. Anywhere that you're carrying a lot of speed, you want to try to avoid those curbs this evening and stay on the blacktop. Still watching Bruno DeCarmo. Let's just turn things over. In fact, we haven't done this in a while, so let's do it now. Let's turn things over to the sounds of the sim and go on board here from the driver's eye perspective with Bruno DeCarmo for the rest of this lap. As Bruno finishes this lap up, you can see he has got this place figured out, although he has seen a couple of barriers, and what's interesting to me is he is chiming in this evening a little bit slower than Stacy Bertrand, a Pro-Am driver, so that I think is going to shake things up as you take a look here at Ryan Kerr in car 888-001, whichever one you want to call it. And of course, that beautiful purple Maradness livery is striking here on the streets of Long Beach. You know, I'm going to petition after this race to see the Chicago street course in the next GT3 season. I don't know what tracks Scott has planned for us in season 5 of GT3 racing, but I'd love to hear some suggestions out in the chat since that is next up. And you know, we can even take a look at the schedule through this season of Porsche Cup racing and kind of theorize about what some tracks we might that we might see next are. Of course, Detroit, I think, knocks that off of the the listing. All these tracks I doubt will be repeated aside from maybe Interlagos. Even Sebring, I think you could see repeated, but I think for the most part, we'll see these tracks all be left off of our next GT3 season. I would really like to see NASCAR Chicago Street Course, and I'm going to petition Scott to have it later in the season. Driver counts tend to fall off just a little bit, so if we can get under that 40 car threshold, I think it'd be really cool to see GT3 cars around that street course. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, Phil Bedurka saying bring on Chicago. I think it would be so cool. It's a series that was, it's a track rather that was born from iRacing with the help of NASCAR, of course, was brought to reality by NASCAR this past week for July 4th weekend in Chicago for the NASCAR Xfinity Series and the NASCAR Cup Series. Of course, Shane Van Gisbergen just won there in the NASCAR Cup Series in his first start ever. The first time that's happened in 60 years, since 1963. It would be cool to have that Chicago street course. So, Scott, consider this my official petition to get that on the schedule. If not next season, then the season after, when we bring Porsche Cup cars back, hopefully for season number 4 of Porsche Cup action with the North American Racing League. It would also be cool to see maybe an endurance race there. That might be a little bit less feasible, just because you can't really run into the nighttime on a street course. You kind of run out of light, but it would be cool to see. So as we get ready for practice to close, this will be, I think, one of the most close-up looks you get at what these drivers do in a qualifying session. Usually we're talking about, just catching the back end of the session or trying to flip through these drivers. We've had about 10-15 minutes here to look through these drivers and their paint schemes in this practice session. This will be one of the best looks you guys as fans get at what these pros especially do at qualifying, because we usually have to cut the pro qualifying a little bit short because we're still getting into the session. But with 10 minutes now on the clock, let's take a look first at our weather conditions. 66 degrees in the air, 72 on track, and let's go down trackside. Let's go straight to Sean Campbell behind the wheel of the number 1 car and pull up his telemetry. Let's see what he's doing. Of course, nothing exciting happening just yet as he rolls out onto the racetrack. But I'm curious, what is he going to do here behind the wheel to bring these tires up to temperature without infringing on the North American Racing League tire warming rules? Really, all you can do is get straight onto the racetrack and start turning corners at speed to bring the temp up. Jacob Klein likes the idea of Chicago. It would be really cool to see. I think these guys would put on a really, really fun race at the Chicago Street Course. It's so fast. Be really cool. I also think Motorland Aragon in Spain, recently added to iRacing, would be a cool one to add in. A little bit more Spanish flair now with Jerez and Aragon that have been added in these last couple of seasons on iRacing. I think that would really add a little bit of interest. A little bit more interest to the schedule for sure. Willow Springs be nice to see, of course, just added to iRacing this past season along with Motorland Aragon. We just got Rudskogen, so I think it might be a little bit to ask to get either one of those two circuits, but Sean Campbell, a pretty calm warm-up lap here to get onto the racetrack. Everybody is on track currently. Bjorn Stange as well. Jay Robinson there on the 321. Sean Patterson. Let's ride on board briefly with Bruno De Carmo, one of our other pro drivers in the field, and see what he's doing as he begins lap number 1 for Texaco Racing by TK in this sprint race. And this sprint race is going to be a lot more calm. One of the more calm races we've ever seen in the North American Racing League for sure, with just 13 cars on track. But this is kind of a qualifier to get into the feature race in just a little bit of 50 minutes of length. So there will be a 20-minute intermission, then we'll go racing for 50 minutes. For a bit of extra cash, and I'm sure Scott Reister can get me the payouts if he's listening in quickly. Mid-Ohio, also a great option. And you know what, Scott? This is how we should do it. This is how we decide the schedule from now on, maybe. Just have a conversation in our bonus race chat about which track. So if we put down in the chat, we've got Chicago, we've got Mid-Ohio, we've got... There's another one that was mentioned. Well, leave your guys' suggestions out in the chat. I won't put too many out there. I already mentioned Willow Springs, Aragon, Jerez. So many different courses. That would be fantastic additions, I think. And certainly, we need more Brazilian, more South American tracks in general. There are a few down there in Brazil and Argentina. iRacing really needs to get on those if possible. Here's Bruno de Carmo, though. Rounding turn 11, the hairpin. Chicago when rain comes. I get it. I gotcha. Hey, Cody Williams checking in. Good to see you this evening. Donington slept on by Dustin Sluter. Yep, I agree. We've been to Donington before, I believe, in this series. If not, it was Pacific Challenge. As Bruno de Carmo completes his lap, goes fastest. Here's Sean Campbell into the fountain section. And yeah, Cody Williams, Indy Road. We actually did that a couple of GT3 seasons ago, and unfortunately it was right when their, I think it was their start procedure was messed up because the track had just been added on iRacing. Had just been updated, I should say, for the 2022 version. It was that summer, so we actually had issues with the start procedure. I think that kind of banned that track from everybody's minds in the North American Racing League as a result. But it was a fun race. I think it was really compelling, a really fun layout for GT3. It just happened. Was that GT3 or was that Porsche Cup? It might have been Porsche Cup. I don't recall anymore. It was last summer. It was a while ago. I've slept a few times since then. Here's a look at Ryan Kerr on track currently for qualifying. And really, all the attention, I think, has to shift down to our amateur drivers. We like to take a look, of course. Yeah, it was Porsche Cup last season. That makes sense. We like to take a look at our pro guys. They're fun. They're cool and everything. We don't get to see them as much in qualifying. But the battle this evening in this sprint race is our yellow numbers, our amateur drivers. Avon Dorsey, Scott Angelo, Bjorn Stange. I'm sorry, not Scott Angelo. Avon Dorsey, Bjorn Stange, Jay Robinson, Gary Weaver. There we go. As Gary got pretty quick here in the qualifying session. And how about Billy Bowerman across the line? Now Bjorn goes faster, so a couple of big-time heaters these last couple laps from these guys. You see Bowerman within a second of overall pole. That's to Bruno de Carmo. So these guys are figuring things out. Stacy Bertrand, fifth quick. She's got some speed this evening, the faster of the two Pro-Am qualifiers for our sprint race. And Avon Dorsey picking up time. There you go. There's some payouts. The pro race winner this evening in our, realistically, I'm going to keep calling it the All-Star race. Hopefully we can make that one stick with Scott. I know it's kind of a NASCAR thing, but I think it fits. Realistically, our All-Star race this evening, $300 to first, then $200 to second, $100 to third. That is a hefty payout compared to the weekly payout for these races. That is a lot of money these guys can earn this evening. So that is definitely something to take advantage of this evening if you're in this race. Even for Pro-Am, 200, 175. Again, solid payouts. And for Am, 150, 150. Those are a lot. Yeah, exactly. And all-star stuff is everywhere. And you know what? It makes for a great show. 4 minutes left in qualifying. Avon Dorsey, fastest of the Am drivers. Bjorn Stange just a bit back as Sean Campbell goes up to pole overall by nearly a second. Ryan Kerr is going to chip into that a little bit. They get 7.5 tenths, 3/4 of a second, and Bruno de Carmo is already on the pit lane. Looks like he's done for his qualifying session. But here comes Avon Dorsey, and into the pit lane. Avon will go, it looks like, done for that qualifying run. Gary Weaver is still on track. This is lap number 3 for Gary. Of course, has that Pit Stop TV logo on his car. He's helped us several times throughout this season during the pro races. And we certainly don't want to talk to him during the pro race because, well, the feature race, I'll say, because we want him to be in that feature race this evening, going for that money in the amateur class. He has been such a great addition, I think, to this amateur class, and seeing a broadcaster race with these guys is really special. Of course, he probably hates that I call him a broadcaster. He probably wants to be referred to as a driver, but he is a broadcaster, realistically. He's been in broadcasting on iRacing for years now, and of course does race along the side, as you can see. He does a pretty darn good job of it, as he's got 3 minutes left to go to qualify just a little bit better. He's 5th so far of the amateur drivers, and we'll see if he can move up to 4th or 3rd. Knockhill is a fantastic suggestion. I don't know about going to reverse. We did that with BSR a couple of years ago, but it certainly is an idea. Gary Weaver across the line. He's going to pick up a couple of tenths. Is that good enough for 4th? It is not, and in fact, that lap is actually cut out from his qualifying time. Billy Bowerman comes into the pit lane, and that should wrap up qualifying, as nobody else has any opportunity to go any faster on their laps. Well, that was a little bit anticlimactic. Nobody going any faster there at the end of the session. It's a tough lap here at Long Beach Street Course. We can bring up the track map once again, and I'd love to hear thoughts about what your favorite corner here is. To me, it has to be the fountain. It's just so cool. Something so different from what you see at really any other circuit we go to on the North American Racing League schedule, or anywhere at iRacing for that matter. The closest would maybe be, trying to think, maybe Detroit, and go figure, it's a street course that I'm mentioning. I don't think anywhere else really compares to Long Beach in any way, shape, or form. It is just such a well-designed street course. I don't think you could really do anything to improve it. I really don't think you could. It is such a good street course here at Long Beach, and I really do love it. I can't think of a single way to improve this place. It is just such a great course. Although I could think of maybe not counting turn 7. It does feel a little bit silly to me, but hey, you come up over that crest, it kind of makes sense, I guess, as you take a look here at the track map. One more time, let's take a look at the standings. Of course, we mentioned these drivers that are trying to advance their way into the feature race this evening. And you see kind of where they are in the standings from this past season. Yes, best street course, no questions. I love Chicago. I really do love what NASCAR did. For what it is, it's a fantastic circuit, but yeah, I think Long Beach definitely does still take the cake by a mile. But of course, these drivers we're talking about advancing are including Bjorn Stange, who finished 4th in the standings, Gary Weaver, who finished 9th in the standings, Adam Ballard, who went 11th. Looking through the rest of the list, you've got, I think Philip Durka is actually in by a pole position, potentially, I'm not sure, maybe incidents got him in. Sean Patterson and Yvonne Dorsey, though, they went 19th and 20th in the standings, so they're certainly looking to kind of rectify seasons that didn't quite go right for them in the 19th and 20th places in the standings. That's not quite where you want to be. Of course, you want to be a little further forward. They're looking to get an opportunity this evening and race for some big cash. Ricardo Rico, of course, won the championship. We'll see a lot of these drivers here in about 25, 30 more minutes when we go racing for the 50-minute feature event this evening. Otherwise, looking down through the field, we do see Bruno De Carmo, who is not even in this top 10. He actually dropped a little ways down through the order. But you do see Stacy Bertrand from the Pro-Am class. You also see Scott Angelo, who is actually not pictured in this top 10. That said, we've got cars to the grid this evening for our sprint race in the North American Racing League bonus race. And let's remind you of the format this evening. Take a look there. A 20-minute sprint race now. It's a 50-minute feature race in a little bit. 50% fuel limit, open setups, no pit expected as we get down trackside one more time. Let's take a look through your starting grid. Sean Campbell on pole. Ryan Kerr starting from the second position for Bradness M Squad. Starting third, it's Bruno De Carmo. All the pros up front. Avon Dorsey starts from fourth. Started from fifth, it'll be Bjorn Stange. Stacy Bertrand from sixth position. Starting seventh, you'll find Scott Angelo, also from Bradness M Squad. Billy Barrowman from Team Empire grids up eighth. 9th and 10th, Jay Robinson, Gary Weaver. 11th and 12th, Sean Patterson, Adam Ballard. And finally, Matthew Shervick at the back of the field as we get ready to go racing. Had to get those words out quickly, and we are off and away at Long Beach for the sprint race in the North American Racing League bonus race. Tight there at turn one, even though we've only got 13 cars. Room running out quickly now through the fountain section. You see everybody single file. A big time start from Avon Dorsey this evening, side by side for the last few positions as Bruno De Carmo, it looks like, starts from the pit lane. That's going to be a challenge for him. There goes Avon Dorsey, Stacy Bertrand in third, Scott Angelo in fourth, Sean Campbell down to fifth place on this opening lap. Third place currently, the cutoff for the transfer is Gary Weaver over Bjorn Stange, and that's going to be a fun battle to watch. There is Gary Weaver, center of your screen now in that black and, oh no, he just crushed the inside wall. He absolutely crushed the wall there at turn 8. That's going to be tough. That's a lot of damage for him to overcome. He maintains. Nope, that's it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I can't believe it. It's not race over for Gary, but that is a huge, huge hit as our leaders come on through the hairpin. See everybody else coming through? That last transfer spot now belongs to Bjorn Stange over Billy Bowerman. That is now the fight to watch as Gary Weaver falls to 12th, and Bruno Del Carmo has already towed to the pit lane. I don't see any damage on that car. Actually, I might see a little bit of right front damage. He might have hit the wall as well. Our leaders, though, into the fountain section for the second lap. Look at this. 2 Pro-Ams and a Pro, nose to tail, as they run through turn 4, now up to turn 5. Scott Angelo defending over. That's going to be Sean Campbell in the 1 car. This is going to be an interesting look up to turn number 6. And for sure, Scott Angelo going to have to let that Sean Campbell guy go right on through in turn 6, turn 7, and turn 8. That does now mean as well that Stacy Bertrand has got to have her eyes up because Sean Campbell is coming in a hurry. I'm not sure what happened on the start there to Sean, but big problems for sure as Matthew Shervick is turned around in turn 6. He's got some damage as he tries to get back righted, and he will get back going. Billy Bowerman, the first AM car out. He's got to race that car just ahead. That is Bjorn Stange he's chasing. A very tight gap here as they wrap up lap number 2. A little bit of lockup there at turn 11, the hairpin. Oh, and one turnaround. Jay Robinson spun around out of the hairpin. Big trouble here for car 321. That is a terrible place to be stuck. Thankfully, he's got a little bit of time back to Matthew Shervick to try and get turned around, but 3-point turn here. Oh, my goodness. Where is Gary Weaver? 30 seconds back. A lot of damage done there to the 321 car. Up front, Sean Campbell right on the back end here of Stacy Bertrand. This is already through turn number 5 onto West Shoreline Drive, headed back towards turn 6. A little bit of wall scrapes there at the apex, and I think Stacy might have caught it just barely. The mirror's still on that car, thankfully, but it won't take too many hits like that before it falls off. Sean Campbell right close to that turn 9 apex wall. Here he comes, a move maybe for turn 9 as Avon Dorsey moves over to try and block. Avon giving up all that time, and to the inside, surely there goes Sean Campbell on Stacy Bertrand. The amateur leader lets both of these cars go on through. Stacy not backing off just yet. Side by side through turn 10. Turn 11 now next up the hairpin. And a lockup from Stacy that opens the door for Avon Dorsey. Dorsey backs up to Scott Angelo, and all 4 cars are to line now back onto East Shoreline Drive. Lap 3 complete for those drivers. Ryan Kerr fastest, 3.3 seconds ahead of the field. And Stacy's stand for second, unfortunately, ended rather quickly, but she stays 3rd place ahead of Avon Dorsey for the moment into the fountain section once more. Gary Weaver has parked it. And unfortunately, our broadcaster, who did so great off the start, grabbed a couple of early positions, is done. Sean Patterson now done as well, at least for this lap. Into turn 1, problems for the 56 car. Loses 2 spots, it looks like, to Bowerman and Ballard. At least 1 to Ballard. I'm not sure if he was ahead of Bowerman there or not. But Billy Bowerman now 5 seconds back of Bjorn Stange. But he does currently hold on to our final transfer position. So Avon Dorsey, Bjorn Stange, Billy Bowerman are your 3 transfers as they stand. Adam Ballard is 3 seconds back. And frankly... with the mistakes we've seen in just the first 5 minutes, I think the AM class is still wide open, ladies and gents. I don't think this is over, but on board with Adam Ballard from Rockefeller Racing, we'll see if Adam can reel in that 302 car. Otherwise, we may have decided the lineup pretty quickly here. Ryan Kerr fast, Sean Campbell faster as Sean tries to reel in that lead car. We'll, of course, keep tabs on that fight. Right now, though, Adam Ballard losing more time to Billy Bowerman ahead. Real close there through the fountain section. Avon Dorsey, Scott Angelo getting very tight. I think one of them might have clipped the wall going into the fountain at turn 2. It's hard to say. And Scott, oh, that's what I'm saying. You don't want to hit those curbs on the inside of turn 5. They will send you out to the outside of the racetrack pretty quick. Close there to the apex of 6. Beautiful turn from Scott. And thankfully, Scott, Casey, they don't have to race for their positions to transfer in. It's only the amateurs that are left up for grabs right now. Which I think, of course, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys out in the chat, but this kind of turns into a test session for them. They're able to try a few things with this setup, try and find a little bit of extra speed maybe for the feature race coming up in about 15 more minutes. I think that's more like about 30 minutes. On board Scott Angelo from Daniel Morad's M Squad. One more lap complete, and as these tires wear off, I do think some of the volatility going away is going to make it a little bit more difficult to pass, and certainly the gaps are building. Take a look there at car 7, Avon Dorsey running in the 4th position, and I think most of the lineup has been decided. Really, it's up to whether or not any of the 3 AM drivers currently in makes a mistake, because even from Bowerman back to Ballard, it's a 4-second gap. And that doesn't just get overcome in 12 minutes at Long Beach. That is a big gap to try and make up. Angelo, a slow lap. He backs up to Bjorn Stange. Fell way off of Avon Dorsey this lap. And we could have a battle for 5th position suddenly as Stange closes in. Also worth mentioning, Sean Campbell down within 3 seconds now of our race leader. Fastest lap, Ryan Kerr, a 120.548. Now Sean Campbell, a 120.353. And one thing I will say is this gives us a great opportunity to watch these 2 drivers just go after it. 2 drivers we didn't see much of in this past season of racing. Sean Campbell from the Carolina Club. And Ryan Kerr, of course, from Australia, New Zealand. A really cool opportunity to just watch these 2 guys go after it. The gap now 3 seconds to take a look here at Ryan Kerr, also from Daniel Morad's M Squad. Oceana Coffee there on the side of that car. Sean Campbell, he's got plenty of time back to Stacy Bertrand as he tries to pursue that 888. And this is the lull, guys. This is that kind of calm before the storm. The eye of the hurricane, as I called it at Sebring. Once we get into that bonus race, things are going to pick up for sure. Right now, these guys kind of are all spread out. They know the picture as Matthew Shervick has a problem. I think that's turn 6 again. Oh, and it is. Get a look at this for Matthew Shervick, car 23. Really just missed his braking point as Scott Angelo has now allowed Bjorn Stange to go on through. Yeah, Shervick just completely missed that braking point into turn 6. Billy Bowerman has actually caught Scott Angelo. This could get interesting with Scott dropping down further through the field. Has to be a little bit worried for the feature race here in a little bit for car 68. Hopefully he can get those issues kind of fixed up, patched up, whatever you want to call it. Inside of 10 minutes to go in our 20-minute sprint race for the North American Racing League bonus race. I really do love this idea, and I'm so glad that Scott Reister bid on it to have a sprint race, kind of open qualifier for these guys to get into the bonus race. The All-Star race is what I'm calling it anyways, unofficially. So a big shout out to Scott for being willing to host this race, have this sprint for a few extra guys to get in. Gives these guys one more chance. If they weren't able to make the criteria otherwise, gives them a chance to shine, and I think it's really doing that in the case of Billy Bowerman especially, who's putting some pressure here on Scott Angelo, even Bjorn Stange, Avon Dorsey. And it's even kind of surprising that Bjorn Stange wasn't already in. We said Bjorn's name a lot this season, and I really would be a little bit disappointed to not see him in this special race this evening. So it's good to have this extra chance for him to get in, race his way in, and show that he should be racing with the best of the best. We continue to watch, though, as Scott Angelo takes pressure here from Billy Bowerman. Billy is currently the final car in via the transfer for the amateur drivers. The next car to try and advance is Adam Ballard, 7 seconds back and actually being caught quickly by Sean Patterson. Here's a look at this little battle. On board of Sean Patterson now, hopefully it's a nice easy lap. He can reel in this 29 car and go racing. And I mentioned this a couple of weeks back. I think it might have been at Nürburgring, maybe the round prior at Interlagos. I don't recall which one, but Sean Patterson has really come a long way in NARL, really developing over recent seasons. I know we have a select size of drivers, but I think certainly a top 10 contender now, top 15 at the very least in NARL in the amateur class. He has really come a long ways. I recall a couple of GT3 seasons ago, he was dead set on running that McLaren. And I love that car. It breathes fire, but if you are not apt to driving it at the limit, on edge, boy, is it difficult to do. And he took the challenge. Unfortunately, there were a few thrills and spills for him that season, and it's good to see him now in the Porsche Cup Series doing a much better job, really improving as this season has gone by. And now putting pressure on Adam Ballard, as Adam is the first car out. I mentioned Ryan Kerr, Sean Campbell, of course, they were close earlier. They have not grown much closer, although Sean has made up about a half second since we last checked in on these two at the front of the field. Now about 2.5, 2.6 seconds between these two drivers. Sean comes right around the curbing there at turn 10. Again, a place where you can use some extra curbing, but you got to be careful. And Billy Bowerman has lost all of that time that he had gained on Scott Angelo. A mistake that lap. Let's take a look at it. And right there, you see the 102 just lose grip. That's exit of turn 4, headed up to turn 5. And I think we saw a puff of smoke from, I think it was Sean Patterson's onboard as he had Adam Ballard came up to that spot. One more look at it for Billy Bowerman from the drones. Just coming around turn 4. Spun the rears, and really it wasn't even spun the rears, just the weight transfer brought that car around. And we saw that multiple times this season. I'm sure any drivers out in the chat can concur. We saw that multiple times this past season of points racing. The car just kind of keeps transferring that weight, and it stays loaded up on that outside corner. And it's so hard to control the car once it gets like that. Five minutes to go. The best battle on the racetrack currently is between differently classed drivers. Scott Angelo, the Pro-Am, working on Bjorn Stange, the AM driver, actually. A bit of an interesting kind of dynamic between these two. They didn't race at all this past season. Staying on board here with Scott Angelo, 4.5 minutes to go, call it 4 laps. Into the braking zone for turn 1, closes in big time here on Bjorn Stange. We could have ourselves a race, ladies and gents, between these two for the 5th position. And I will say, fantastic job this evening from Avon Dorsey, Bjorn Stange, Billy Bowerman, Adam Ballard, drivers that usually race on a fixed setup from Infinite Racing Services. The rest of these guys, the pros and pro-ams, they're used to it. They're used to racing with open setups. They're used to putting together whatever setup they can throughout the week, whether it's a zombie kind of setup from their team or setup provider or whatever. they're used to working on those setups throughout the week. These amateur drivers are not used to doing so, and maybe there's a little bit of added benefit to Avon Dorsey since those Rockefeller Racing drivers of John Kroom and Ilya Speaker were promoted. I'm sorry, Milan Harris were promoted. But it's still a challenge for teams that did not start the season out building those setups. It is a big-time challenge to get setups ready, especially for a place like Long Beach Street Course. It is no easy feat to get a setup that works around here, especially for 50 minutes in the race coming out. That is not at all easy to do. Taking a look here still at Scott Angelo, Bjorn Stange. No change between these two. Still about 9/10, 7/10 in between them. It ebbs and it flows. It comes and it goes. It grows and it slows. How many more times can I make that rhyme? I don't think many more. I'm not exactly Dr. Seuss. I can get a few out, but that's about it. 4/10 that time through turn 5. Now 5/10. It's growing again towards turn 6. And again, this is especially that kind of ebb and flow you see on a street course where one guy gets one corner right, the next guy gets the next corner right, and it could be that it's the 90-degree corner suits one driver better or worse. Although Scott had a really good run there into turn 9, gives a little bit, or turn 8 rather, gives some back here on Seaside Drive down the straightaway. Turn 9 coming up though, another opportunity for Scott to close in. Can't really attack the inside of the corner quite as much, have those curves down on the inside, especially those anti-cut rumbles. Ryan Kerr already into the fountain section. It'll be one lap to go this next time by the flag stand. And Sean Campbell still about 2.5 seconds back. Stacy Bertrand still in 3rd. Avon Dorsey, Bjorn Stange still 4th and 5th. No change to the transfer between Billy Barriman and Adam Ballard. In fact, it's a 3.2 second gap. No worries yet, but we'll keep an eye on it just in case it gets close. As these drivers head to the fountain section, let's take a look at our upcoming broadcast here at Pit Stop TV. Since things are winding down here in the sprint race, you take a look here. Well, that's supposed to say Saturday on the left column, but we'll excuse it for now. That's supposed to say Saturday for the Shake and Bake Racing Butt Kicker Cup Series. Not sure what's happening there with the text overlaid twice, but anyhow. Saturday we have that beautiful kind of surprise feature on a Saturday evening for the Butt Kicker Cup Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Then Circuit Gilles Villeneuve stands up next with the Noble Can-Am Series. Late model stocks and super late models on a road course. That's set to be fun for sure when we go to Montreal. And you know what? Montreal. Scott, if you're out there listening still, that's another racetrack I want to see for an upcoming season. Montreal will be a lot of fun, I think, with this league in particular. Monday evening, we head to Martinsville Speedway for Elite Performance Industries Short Track Mondays. Broadcast here on Pit Stop TV, dirt late models, legends, late model stock throughout the course of the season. And this will begin our Advanced Legends portion of the season, heading to week number 5 at Martinsville. Bjorn Stange still over Scott Angelo, that time not wavering. Ryan Kerr has now taken the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams, and the Maradnes M Squad driver has a nice, easy road ahead for just a couple more corners before he wraps up this sprint race victory. Scott Angelo still all over the back end of Bjorn Stange. We'll see if he can get there on this final lap. Adam Ballard, 2.6 seconds to go, as there you see officially white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. Final corner for Ryan Kerr, making his return to the North American Racing League. Nice and easy run there out of turn number 11, and he'll come on down and take himself a checkered flag in the sprint race this evening. Big time win for him. Scott Angelo, meanwhile, has made a pass finally on Bjorn Stange, and Sean Campbell goes fastest on the final lap. Billy Barriman closing into Bjorn. I think Bjorn might have puffed the wall a little bit. Adam Ballard closing in ever so slightly, but not going to get there, I don't think. Final couple of corners now for Billy Barriman. Right through turn number 11. And sure enough, Billy Barriman from Team Empire Racing will take the final transfer spot this evening, and that is it, ladies and gents, from our sprint race at Long Beach Street Circuit. Adam Ballard, Sean Patterson, Jay Robinson, Matthew Shervick, Gary Weaver all did a fantastic job, but will not be transferring into tonight's main bonus race. And there is the last of them, at least currently still on track. So through the final corner, Matthew Shervick with car 23 to the start-finish line. That will wrap up this evening's sprint race. And take a look right there at the race details. 50% fuel limit. That will carry over. In fact, we can go ahead and quickly update these race details to show we have one pit expected in our feature race. It is a 50-minute bonus race. There you go, 50% fuel limit, open setup. The details are that easy to change over between these two races. Let's take a look at our unofficial race results this evening from our sprint race. You see him there, Ryan Kerr, best of the bunch in car 888, all 15 laps led. Sean Campbell second, Stacy Bertrand third, Avon Dorsey fourth, Scott Angelo, Bjorn Stage, Billy Bowerman, Adam Ballard, Sean Patterson, Jay Robinson, the rest of the top 10. Now, drivers out there watching, we do ask if you can get each class winner, whether you're a teammate or the class winner yourself, each class winner or interview after this sprint race. We'd love to talk to you, as you just put forth one heck of an effort to transfer into tonight's main bonus race. That said, we'll wait on a couple of those. Hopefully Ryan Kerr, Stacy Bertrand, and Avon Dorsey. Take a look once more at our standings that wrapped up a couple of weeks ago at Sebring International Raceway. Kleber Tavares with the Amateur Championship, Ilya Speaker in the second spot, Joe Nagy, Bjorn Stange, and Charles Hosea, your top 5. And hey, Ryan Kerr is ready to talk to us. We'll recap the Pro and Pro-Am standings after this. And Ryan Kerr came back this evening after several weeks off. Couldn't quite make the rest of the season after, I think, 1 or 2 starts at the beginning of the season. But Ryan, you come back completely swinging for the fences this evening, and you win the sprint race to put yourself straight on into the 50-minute feature for the bonus race this evening. How does that feel to start the night off on the right foot?
Feels good. This is probably definitely my favorite combo, the Porsche Cup in Long Beach. So I'm happy I won. Scott, Campbell behind definitely has quite a lot of pace, so it will be interesting to see what happens in the next race.
And of course, that throws in all of the other pro guys and everybody else. So, do you have any kind of idea what you might be changing from the sprint race over into the feature race, if anything, with the setup?
The race setup is okay, but definitely my quality setup needs to change.
So what are you looking for? Like, where were your shortcomings then in qualifying? What are you looking to improve? Of course, you don't have to give out the adjustments you're making, but any idea there specifically what you're feeling in the car that you don't like?
Just a lot of understeer at the moment, so yeah. Compared to the practice session, I don't know if the session temps change, but yeah, quite a lot more understeer, so I got to fix that.
Well, we missed you in this past Porsche Cup season. How about GT3s coming up in the fall? Is the job maybe going to let you race on those Thursday evenings, or is it just not going to work out?
Hopefully. I'm definitely going to try and make it for the GT3 season, so we'll see how we go with that one.
Well, Ryan, it was good to have you back in the field this evening. A win for you in the sprint race. Best of luck when we go racing for 50 minutes here in just a few.
Okay. Thanks, Andrew. Bye.
Ryan Kerr, a big-time win this evening. We'll bring in now Stacy Bertrand from the Pro-Am class. And Stacy, I think this is the first time we're talking to you with a win in class as well here in this sprint race. No, it was just you and Scott out there, but this, of course, officially now moves you into the feature for our bonus race this evening. You're in the NARL All-Star race. That's what I'm calling it, the All-Star race. It may as well be. How's that feel?
That's awesome. I was really practicing hard. I had an abysmal season, as you know, and I just wanted to keep representing out there, and I put it all into this race. And Long Beach is like a home track for me. I'm a California girl, and it was just a lot of fun out there. I think I kept it clean. I'm not sure if I got an X or not.
Well, the car certainly looked good, and I gotta ask, every time we talk to a Rockefeller Racing driver for the first time, I ask what the teamwork is like, and even multiple times throughout the season, because you guys do have the most expansive team this league has ever seen. I think it nearly stretches across all 3 categories now. I'm sure you'll have a pro driver soon, Milan Harris, John Kroom, somebody. So what is it like, this whole team structure in Rockefeller Racing, the different colors designating the different pairings or trios? What is all that like, and how does it help you?
Well, it's definitely a team effort, and I think that's what's attracting more and more people to our team, is they see how organized we are and competitive we are, and it's just a group effort. And I think for the Rockefeller team, it's not just us on iRacing, but there is many other, like GT7 and Orsetta Corsa and all those things, and there's like 10s, 20s drivers on that side too. So the Rockefeller Racing is huge, actually.
I'm actually on a team like that myself now. That kind of expands over into Forza and these other sims and everything, and it's really cool to see. So that is very cool to hear, Rockefeller Racing getting out there. I gotta ask, this next GT3 season, of course, we still have the bonus race coming up, but this GT3 season, it seems like you guys are coming out swinging for the fences once again. How do you feel for it? Do you have a car preference maybe in the fall?
Well, I'm still undecided on even doing the GT3 season. I'm trying to get some personal things taken care of, but if it works out, then I'll do it. And I haven't picked a car yet, but I'll have to probably stick with the Porsche because I just love Porsches. And it should be fun. Should be a good time. I'm definitely going to get some pro training this time. I'm doing it all on my own because I think I'm better than I am, but I'm not.
Well, definitely between Dina Filippo with Infinite Racing Services, Giulietta Romagnolo over at Maradness, I'm sure we can get you up to speed. And of course, we do see the Stacy Bertrand tag there on the car for Twitch. Tell us all about your streaming platform, where these guys can find you.
Oh, yeah, I'm on Twitch right now, but I am kind of dipping my toe into Kick, which I think you guys are as well. And so I might be doing a lot more streaming on Kick. So, and then you just look for my name, Racy Stacy, and you should be able to find me.
There you go, Stacy Bertrand from the 3rd position here in our sprint race. Moving on to the feature and potentially talking to you in just a little bit. Best of luck.
Thanks so much.
Good to finally talk to Stacy Bertrand here at Pit Stop TV. Somebody else we finally get to talk to is somebody that I actually had the pleasure of designing a Porsche 911 GT3 car for a couple of seasons ago in GT3 racing. Now over at Rockefeller Racing, Avon Dorsey, another Rockefeller driver. It seems like you guys are everywhere these days. But Rockefeller Racing green here in the amateur class. What was it like all season long racing against so many other Rockefeller Racing drivers out there this season?
Oh, I'll tell you what, Andrew, it's been exciting. I love racing with this team. They're super helpful. Everybody's super nice, and I tell you, I've learned a lot, and I think I've gotten a lot faster since I've been on this team, especially in this season, because I hated this car at the beginning of the season. Now I love it.
Absolutely. It seems like everybody has been speaking very highly of Rockefeller Racing's team aspect. What has it done for you? We just talked to Stacey about it. We've talked to Milan and John and everybody else. What has it helped for you specifically? Is it how you attack corners? Maybe how you manage a race overall? What has changed for you that's helped you with this car?
It's all of those things and more. I think that what it is, I think the biggest thing it is that I'm with people who are faster than me on a regular basis, kind of all week long practicing, and you just pick up things here and there as we're talking, as we're on track, watching them. You just pick up on a lot of things. There's so many things I do differently than when I was before I got on the team.
Well, Avon, it's certainly good to hear about all of that. And how about this this feature race now? You're transferred in. You won in the amateur class this evening over Bjorn and everybody else. That's got to have you feeling pretty good when you're racing against all your teammates as well coming up in that 50-minute race.
Hey, what? It's got me feeling pretty nervous. I'll probably feel good after the race, I hope, but nervous now.
Well, and how about attacking the pit stop as well? I know that's something you had in the GT3 season last time out, but in the Porsche Cup car, it's a little bit different for you.
It is. I honestly, I can tell you the honest truth, I have no idea what I'm doing with this pit stop strategy. So all thing I did was set crew chief to fill me up to much as he thinks I need, and I'll see what happens.
Hey, there you go. Avon Dorsey winning an amateur in our sprint race and ready to go for the 50-minute bonus race coming up in just a little bit. Avon, that means you are one of our all-stars, if you will, in our bonus race this season. Congratulations. Hopefully we're talking to you here at the end of 50 minutes.
Right, thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you guys for all you do.
Absolutely appreciate you, drivers. That's Avon Dorsey winning an amateur class this evening in our sprint race. Good to finally talk to a lot of these drivers. We've spoken to Ryan before, but we've never spoken to Stacy Bertrand and Avon Dorsey that I can recall, so it's good to finally get both of them in the booth for a couple of moments. And all of you drivers out there that have transferred in or are already locked into the bonus race, we're looking for you coming up. 50 minutes of action as we get set to go for the final time this Porsche Cup season of any kind of racing that we'll see. We bid this Porsche Cup car a farewell for now. Of course, we'll come back, I'm sure, in the spring of 2024. But the way this schedule comes up, and this is unofficial for now, but the way we expect the schedule to kind of be structured, we'll have racing again through 2023 season number 4 on iRacing. And we should be off before the New Year's with GT3 racing. So if you really want to get ahead of yourself and start planning for more Porsche Cup racing, expect probably January or February of 2024 for that season to roll around. But we have GT3, of course, coming up first this summer and fall here in 2023, and I'm so excited. Here's a look at the Porsche Cup schedule from this season, beginning April 27th, and of course running through today, July 6th of 2023, and we bring things to a close in these Porsche Cup cars. GT3 is up next, but we're not done just yet. We still have the bonus race coming up, technically the full-blown all-star race coming up in just about 10 minutes or so, a 50-minute race length, all of the best drivers of the North American Racing League going after it. You do not want to miss it. For now, though, a big thank you to our partners here at the North American Racing League, Infinite Racing Services, Moradness, Victorum, and Screw Compressor Service Incorporated. And our partners, of course, here at Pit Stop TV, Whiplash Media, SimCams, ATVO, and CC's Business, all helping us get it done. A thank you to those who help us behind the scenes in audio, ATVO, Whiplash Media, SimCams, OBS, and iRacing.com. And we will see you all in just about, 5 minutes apparently. Well, it happened quick, so we've got to get over there. We'll see you in a few moments for our bonus race this evening of 50 minutes total. We'll be right back.
My name is Scott Reister. I'm the creator of North American Racing League, also a NARL Porsche Cup driver, broadcasted live by Pit Stop TV.
Hi, my name is John Sedlak, and I race for Firelight Esports in North American Racing League. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/diesel_dad.
Hello, I am Dino Filippa, sim racer from Argentina, current champion, and I will be competing in the championship for the ERS team and also providing the data for each race for the participant drivers.
Hey guys, I am Marco Saavedra, and I'm a NARL Porsche Cup driver representing Infinite Racing Services. I'm a race winner and multiple podium finisher on the last NARL GT3 season, so I'll be working to get even better results this championship on a different car. See you all on track.
Hi guys, I am Ricardo Rico from Spain. I drive with Zenit Esports and I will be doing this Porsche Cup season in the North American Racing League. I hope you can catch with us on the Pit Stop TV broadcast and we will try to give you a good show. See ya!
Hi, my name is Lubov. I'm full-time streamer, content creator, ambassador for Master in Excel Racing. And also, I'm North American Racing League Porsche Cup driver.
Hey guys, my name's Ryan Kerr. Looking forward to racing in NARL, broadcast by Pit Stop TV again this season. This time in the pro category after last season's good result. Racing again with Moranis. Looking forward to seeing everybody out on track.
Hi, my name's David Schwartz. I'm 36 years old. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm representing the Moranis M squad. In real life, I'm the 2018 D Street Las Vegas region autocross champion, also an STCA time trial winner, and I've been sim racing for about 6 years.
Hi, I am Dalton Zabadil, driver for SimCity Racing and North American Racing League Porsche Cup driver. I am the 2021 Colorado Karting Tour iRacing Winter Series champion and the 2022 Season 1 Porsche Cup Pro-Am champion.
Olá, meu nome é Jackson Rezende, faço parte da Texaco Race by TK e sou piloto da North American Race League Porsche Cup.
Hey guys, Bruno Do Carmo here from Texaco Racing by TK, Pro World Championship license back in 2017, and now I'm a North American Racing League Porsche Cup driver.
Hello guys, my name is Gustavo Ariel and I'm Texaco Racing by Tony Canan driver and I'll be driving on the North American Racing League Porsche Cup Championship. Let's go.
Welcome back to the famous Long Beach Street Circuit on iRacing.com. 28 cars set to go racing on the streets of Long Beach in Southern California in the sun. Palm trees lining the shores. We've got boats galore out in the bay. We have 28 cars ready to go racing. All of the best drivers in the North American Racing League set to go after it this evening. Thanks for joining us here at Pit Stop TV. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and we are ready to get after it. Let's get trackside and take a look at everything going on in Sim here in just 1 second. Right there, we can get into the sim and take a look. We are ready to go racing once again. Thanks for joining us. We are about to have some fun. Checking in at just about 2 miles in length. Let's take a look at our track map this evening, brought to you by Whiplash Media sim cams. You can see there, along with the streets and where the outside streets kind of go, to get reference of how this street circuit is kind of built in here. And East Seaside Way, actually, I guess we missed it. East Seaside Way does actually continue on just a little bit there past turn number 9. It does keep going. I guess we missed that in the track map, but that's okay. You can see where kind of everything else goes and how this place is kind of carved out of the streets in downtown Long Beach. It is a special course for sure. Let's take a look one more time at the pro points. We took a look at the amateur points before the intermission. Here's a look at the pro standings. Love 46 checked into the top 10 for the first time in her career, I do believe. A really impressive set of drivers there at the top, and I think one of the closest top 6s we've ever had in the North American Racing League points battle. A really exciting fight between all of those drivers, top 7 even, top 8, all within 50 points. That is what you want to see. We do have cars on track for qualifying. In fact, we have all 28 on track. Let's go through the bunch of them. Up first, how about Marco Saavedra in car number 99? We'll go through the full driver lineup. Marco Saavedra there. Actually, it should be car 99. I guess car number 1 this evening. Dino Felipe. Well, that's okay. The numbers might be a little bit messed up. We'll roll with it. But Dalton Zavadil here as well, of course, from Club West. How about Volker Krebs in car 53? From the amateur class, Brian Robinson, also one of our amateur qualifiers into this race. Joshua Lyon, amateur driver, joining us for this race as well. Fabio Zamperlini, car 327 from Brazil. Good to see him here this evening. Making it in as one of our pro drivers, Otto Rosa from the amateur class. How about Chris Sanchez from the, I guess Australia and New Zealand club as well from the Pro-Am class. An independent driver, one of the few independent drivers left in this series. Samuel Bernardi from Michigan in the AM class as well. I think he's a solo driver. Alec Bergstrom here from Radness M Squad from the Northwest. How about Ilya Speaker from Pennsylvania? We do have drivers clearly from all walks of life, all corners of this earth, it seems like. Gustavo Ariel, of course, multiple race wins on the season. Qualifies into our bonus race. How about Dino Felipe there in car 13? As Gustavo goes right to the top of the board. Joe Nagy here from the amateur class as well. Good to see him from Rockefeller Racing. Keith Wilfred in car 15 from Canada. And how about that? Keith now over at Rockefeller Racing. They keep expanding. Ricardo Rico, though, over at Drago Esports. Drago Racing, that is. How about Martin Gramigna here in the all-black Porsche 911? Philip Badurka from Move Over Racing. Kleber Tavares, of course, from Epic Fails Motorsports. He's got his teammate in Thomas Rayleigh. Actually, both of his teammates here. Thomas Rayleigh and Rob Pendergast. Miguel Colon here as well this evening. How about, of course, our qualifiers in from our sprint race. Billy Bowerman, Ryan Kerr, Scott Angelo, a couple of teammates there in Kerr and Angelo. And there's a few that we missed because they already turned times before we could get to them in the lineup. Let's not forget Martin Gramigna. Let's see, who did we miss? Sean Campbell from the sprint race. Stacy Bertrand there in car 52. Thomas Rayleigh, there he is in car 18. Rob Pendergast as well. All of our best drivers this season in this one event. It is still a bit of a sprint race. We're not calling it the sprint race, of course. 50 minutes in length. That is our endurance race length here in the North American Racing League. This race, of course, does not count for any points. We will see one pit stop from these drivers. So let's take a look at our Whiplash SimCam's race details on screen now as we take a look at Pendergast qualifying. Now you see your pole sitter on track. Your provisional pole sitter currently anyways, Gustavo Ariel, but you see your race details bottom right of the screen. $50-minute race, 50% fuel limit, open setup, one pit expected as Ricardo Rico jumps to the top of the board now from Drago Racing. And yeah, Rockefeller Racing is inevitable. It is unavoidable. Resistance is futile. I agree with all those points. As you take a look here, one of the few drivers left outside of Rockefeller Racing, Ricardo Rico. Wouldn't it love to have him, though? Seems like every week we're talking about a new driver joining their ranks and going even faster. Love 46, Navon Dorsey are now joining the session as well. We'll see where they slot in this evening. That makes it a 30-car race. Gustavo Ariel, second quick. Let's see if he can go any faster here. Completes another lap. And yes, up to the top of the board. Sean Campbell now to second place in car 26. Ricardo Rico now drops to the third position. 3/10 off pole. Let's see if Ricardo can find something here. Turn 9 coming up. This is Ricardo's final opportunity for pole position in our bonus race this evening. Through turns 9 and 10, turn 11, a tricky braking zone right down around that inside wall, the hairpin, back on power. Through the gears, hard to the start and finish line. Let's see if Ricardo Rico can find anything extra here in his qualifying run, trying to beat a 1:19.55, and he will not do so. He will stay third quick, although he does pick up some time that final attempt. How about Ryan Kerr through the final couple of corners? Can Ryan get up there with the other pro drivers? We do have 9 pro drivers all in line before Joshua Lyon, an AM driver, checks in the 10th position. Here goes Ryan Kerr, final attempt on throttle, up through the gears to the start-finish line. Is it faster? No. A couple more drivers finishing up their runs. Philip Padurka still has a chance. He's into turn 9 here. Keith Wilfred still on track. Otto Rosa as well. Miguel Colon still out there to the start-finish line. Is it any faster? It's a bunch faster. A 120.759. That is good for 9th, and that bumps Ryan Kerr down a spot. Billy Barrowman out of the final corner. Not able to go any faster. Ilya Speaker. One more opportunity there for Ilya. Philip Padurka moves up ahead of Bjorn Stange. Keith Wilfred. And wow, Kleber Tavares. 9th quick. One of our AM drivers in the top 10. How about that? Ilya Speaker still on a heater. He's got just a few corners left to go along with Otto Rosa. Avon Dorsey now in the session. Lap number 1 underway for Avon. And Love 46 now on track as well, leaving the pit lane. Otto Rosa comes across the line, goes up to 25th quick. Alec Bergstrom has just moved up the order to 17th position, has one more lap left to go. Ilya Speaker, the final corner, turn 11. Let's see what he can do. And no, straight into the pit lane for Ilya. Avon Dorsey then an opportunity here. Avon into turn number 9, trying to wrap this lap up. Alec Bergstrom a little bit behind him. We'll see that lap come through in just a moment as well. Love 46 way back in, we'll call that exit of turn 8. Here comes Bergstrom into the final couple of corners. Avon Dorsey onto the front stretch. Gonna wrap up lap number 1 for Avon's run. It's a 121.930. That is good for 25th. Bergstrom out of the final corner. Is it any faster? Yes, a 120.996. That moves him up one spot ahead of Chris Sanchez for the 16th position. And Love 46 begins her first flying lap. Well, fans, solidify your pick now. Who is going to win the bonus race this evening at Long Beach Street Course? You see them all listed on your screen on the left side on the ticker. Gustavo the fastest, Sean Campbell second, Ricardo Rico, Dino Filippo, Marcos Saavedra your top 10, or top 5 rather. Fabio Zamperlini, Martin Grimigna, Dalton Zavadil, Kleber Tavares, and Miguel Colon your top 10 officially. See what Avon Dorsey can do these final couple of corners. Will he get back to the line? I don't think, unfortunately, that Love 46, she will not get a lap in, and Avon Dorsey will unfortunately not get back around. So Avon will start from the 25th position this evening in our bonus race. Let's take a look through at least as much of the lineup as we can. On pole, car number 21, Gustavo Ariel from Texaco Racing by TK. Starts from pole position, Sean Campbell from second. Starting third, Ricardo Rico from Drago Racing, Dino Filippo from Infinite Racing Services. Starting fifth, Marcos Saavedra, Dino's teammate, alongside, that is Fabio Zamperlini from Duckhawk Racing in car 327. Starting from seventh, it's Martin Grimigna. Dalton Zavadil completes our lockdown of 8 pros on top of the field. Kleber Tavares and pole sitter starts ahead of all of the Pro-Am drivers. They line up 9th and 10th, due Kleber Tavares and Miguel Colon. Starting for 11th spot, Ryan Kerr, winner of the sprint race just a little bit ago. He starts from 11th spot. Joshua Lyon from 12th. 13th, Rob Pendergast. 14th, Stacy Bertrand. Thomas Rayleigh starts directly behind his teammate, starting from the 15th spot. 16th will be Alec Bergstrom. 17th and 18th, Chris Sanchez, Samuel Bernardi. 19th and 20th, how about Scott Angelo and Joe Nagy? The rest of the field quickly, Billy Bowerman, Ilya Speaker. 23rd, it's Philip Durka. Bjorn Stange, 24th. 25th, it's Avon Dorsey. Then Otto Rosa, 26th. 27th, Keith Wilfred. 28th, Volker Krebs. In the back row this evening in the bonus race, how about Brian Robinson in car 4 and Love 46 in car 46. There you see your pole sitters. Weather conditions for this bonus race, 66.3 degrees in the air and a much higher track temp, 91 degrees, partly cloudy in the skies. It has heated up just in time for our bonus race. Waiting on the countdown atop the flag stand. There we go. Red lights on, green lights waiting. 50 minutes waiting this evening for us. And the green flag flies. We are down and away at Long Beach in the bonus race. Already a stack up in turn 1. Cars everywhere in turns 1 and 2. Everybody jockeying for position. $300 up for grabs for the pro winner this evening. Gustavo Ariel leads him on to West Shoreline Drive out of turn number 5. Love 46 unfortunately stopped out of the fountain section. And it looks like more issues potentially for Alec Bergstrom as this first lap gets underway. Your Pro-Am race leader after about a half lap of action is Miguel Colon in 9th place. Amateur race leader, that's going to be Cleber Tavares in car 22, headed down the backstretch East Seaside Drive into turn number 9. Gustavo Ariel comes on through the hairpin, and for the first time today, 1 lap will be complete. And what a first lap of racing it was for these 30 here on the streets of Long Beach. Only 1 car stopped, and we've got trouble in the back. Avon Dorsey and a bunch more in the hairpin of all places. Turned around, stopped, trying to get back going. Avon Dorsey, Otto Rosa, Bjorn Stange, Keith Wilfred. Oh, and Philip Adurka's backwards. Dalton Zavadil racing here with Fabio Zamperlini. Nearly contact there in the fountain. Remember, all gloves are off. These guys are just racing. Wow! Oh, and Joshua Lyon, big contact. Rob Pendergast involved. And that is trouble in the midfield. Meanwhile, out front, it is all Gustavo Ariel out front of Ricardo Rico and Sean Campbell. They can't let him get away this easily, can they? Trouble. Cleber Tavares, car 22. Trouble all over the course. Although it does look like Kleber's car is still in decent condition. Let's see if we can go back through a couple of these incidents quickly. Well, that is a little too far back maybe, so we'll try and find this at least with Cleber Tavares just a couple of moments ago. This is turn 5. Onto the backstretch. I mentioned you don't want to get those curbs, but it wasn't even the curbs, it was corner exit that got him. And trouble certainly for the 22 car. Just prior to that, we had trouble involving Philip Badurka. This is coming up to it. Oh, turned around there by Avon Dorsey. That was the center of all of this. You see Samuel Bernardi gets appeased. Billy Bowerman tries to get by Volker Krebs. Bjorn Stange. Oh, and then Philip lights up the tires on exit. That is just so painful. Even prior to that, there was some issue with Love 46. Let's take a look here. What happens to Love? Into turn 1 here. Behind Volker Krebs right off the start. Let's go on board with Love 46 out of the Asia Club. Wow, Chris Sanchez was all over the place in turn 1. This is into the fountain. Love 46 on the inside of Chris Sanchez. Oh, that's not going to do it. That is not going to do it at all. Gets back on power, and that car just goes right around. I guess the real question is then what happened to Chris Sanchez to kind of spark all of that? We have to go a little bit further back and find Chris in car number 8 this evening. And take a look here as to what happened potentially to that number 8 car. Into turn 1, right behind, looks like Alec Bergstrom. Oh, gets punted there. Contact from Samuel Bernardi, who I think got hit. That was just a big chain reaction. Problems recently for Scott Angelo, but gets back going. As everybody's now settles in, a couple of laps complete. We're on to lap number 4 of an expected 38 in this race. I think it'll be a 37 lap race when it's all said and done. Scott Angelo back here racing with Kleber Tavares. They just swapped positions. And now Ryan Kurd gets by Miguel Colon for the 9th position, as Dalton Zavadiel now gets by Fabio Zamperlini. That's good for 7th, although Fabio might have a run. And here we go. I think for sure Fabio's going to try and do something in turn 9. Can he get there? Maybe not, and sure enough, Dalton Zavadiel covers that advancement up over the 327 Duckhawk Racing machine. Meanwhile, Sean Campbell is all over the back bumper of Ricardo Rico, almost literally. Look at the gap between these two, within 0.2 of a second, 5 minutes in. Here we go, maybe a run down into turn 1. An opportunity from Sean Campbell. Looks to the inside, makes that pass complete well and early into the braking zone. Beautiful pass, textbook there into turn 1 here at Long Beach, while the Infinite Racing Services teammates do battle just behind. Chris Sanchez is all over Brian Robinson. This is for the 15th position. We do have 2 retirements so far from this race, those being Alec Bergstrom and Rob Pendergast. Yeah, hard to keep track of the incidents. That is the most true thing I've seen all night long. Oh, Sanchez a bobble there out of turn 5. That's not how you do it. Still looks good though. That's into turn 6. Really getting close to Brian Robinson there at Apex. Just needs to work on quarter exit to put everything together, I think, for Chris Sanchez. And a lot of these cars already have a good bit of damage, and they are brand new to the new damage model. So we could see some fenders go flying, some bumpers, some wheels. Stacy Bertrand, by the way, just on the cusp of a top 10 run here, battling with Miguel Colon, current leader in Pro-Am. And this is a really cool effort from Stacy this evening. I think really showing what she's made of. You're on stage, Billy Bowerman into turn 9. This is very close between these drivers. Love 46 now there as well. 46 there on the inside for turn 11 and backs out. Bowerman goes wide, opens the door, and they hold position only just. Volker Krebs and Ilya Speaker up the road. And here comes Ilya Speaker into the turn 1 braking zone. Volker gives it up early and settles in now for turn 1. A lot of smart racing is taking place, I will say. For an all-star race kind of deal, these guys are being very, very safe out there, and you'll love to see that. We go through a whole season of racing, all kinds of drama racing for the points, and now all gloves are off. There's no points up for grabs, just a whole bunch of cash. And these guys are racing very, very smart. On board with Chris Sanchez, working on Brian Robinson, and Chris went by Brian just a couple of moments ago, a couple of corners ago. But Brian was able to cross him back up in turn 8, take that spot back away. And oh, Robinson moving over here on the front stretch, going to give that spot right back up to Chris Sanchez. Kleber Tavares takes a look at this situation and says, don't mind if I do. And here comes Robinson back on Chris Sanchez, maybe in turn 1. No dice, no cigar. That is not a pass he wants to try and make just yet. Up ahead, Marcus Saavedra, Dino Filippa, still very, very close. Although Ricardo Rico has fallen back by 1.5 seconds, and out front, things are really spreading out. Let's go on board Stacy Bertrand working on Miguel Colon. This is for the 10th position, and you know, we say that the lead overall is really spreading out, but this is the closest race for the lead that I can see right now for the entire field. Stacy Bertrand, Miguel Colon. There is another close one behind us for AM. Samuel Bernardi is actually working on Joe Nagy here for the AM lead. And it's not often we have to cover 3 different lead battles in the same race. I guess that's why Gustavo's checking out, making it easier on us. We only have to cover 2. Down the front stretch, things spreading out a little bit. We'll stay on board here with Bernardi into turn 1. Let's see if we can close in any on Joe Nagy. We're looking at a 6/10 of a second gap. About a half second now as we head into the fountain. And this is a big deal for the AM drivers. They're not used to running for 50 minutes. They're used to a 30-minute race. No pit stops. Not having to worry too much about their tires. Not having to worry about fuel management. Now they've got all of these extra things they've got to try and think about. And there's a few guys in here that used to be AM drivers and just moved up within the season. Of course, Chris Sanchez, one of them. That are recent additions into the Pro-Am category and therefore the Pro Race. They know how to do it. They're just a little more new to it. And Sanchez is working big time here on Bernardi for that 14th position overall. Of course, if Sanchez is Pro-Am now, he doesn't have to contend with Bernardi for position in class, but is 3rd of the Pro-Am drivers to, actually 4th, to Miguel Colon, Stacy Bertrand, and Thomas Rayleigh. And a lock up there. I think that was Nagy locking up. Nearly 12 minutes complete. Sanchez looking to the right, now looking to the left. Into turn 1. Bernardi going to move out of the way and give that spot up to to Chris Sanchez. Easy pass there for car number 3. And this now brings Brian Robinson into the fight. Cleber Tavares, all of these AM drivers on top of each other. And how about the fact that Cleber Tavares is not leading this race? In trouble. Stacy Bertrand at a turn 5. Oh my goodness. And the great run comes undone as well for Ilya Speaker. And Stacy's got to let another car go by. That's Bernardi at the apex of turn 6. Here comes Brian Robinson wanting to go through. Oh my goodness, and Robinson pulls down right behind Bertrand, side by side through turn 8. Brian Robinson gonna get the edge here, and Bernardi contact, they're crashing. Oh. And that could be a little bit track blocking. That is a really weird spot to be at for Brian Robinson. He's still parked, trying to get the car in reverse. Now get the car turned around. This is getting scary. And here comes the field, and they will go on by. And this is not going to go well for Brian Robinson. I think he should probably pull the car over and park it. This could get scary for Ilya Speaker. Oh, and another car spinning. Who is that? I don't think they actually looped. I think it was lock up there through turn 10. But Brian Robinson, a lot of damage to that 4 car. He will limp it back around to the pit lane and take to the pits. Let's go back, though. See how that one transpired. It all starts with car 52, Stacy Bertrand, on board here. This is turn 5, chasing Miguel Colon for the Pro-Am race lead, and suddenly this fight has dissolved. Just got loose over the curbing. Exactly where I said you don't want to be this evening. She gets the car looped back around. Here comes the AM field. Cleber Tavares, Samuel Bernardi in that bunch, and Bernardi had the spot into turn 6. What happened here between 6 and 8, actually? Well, I think quite simply, Stacy said, I'm not giving that spot up just yet, and we saw these guys race. Now, who moved over on who? I'm not so sure. It looks like they just kind of drove into each other there, Bernardi and Robinson. Unfortunate situation for sure, as we have got a driver in the pit lane. Fabio Zamperlini taking to the pits early, and there was a little bit of damage on that car, but I think this is a scheduled pit stop just very, very early in the race. And yes, sure enough, 8 seconds of fuel back out on the racetrack. And what this does, as opposed to running lighter on less fuel later, he's going to keep weight over the front axle with extra fuel staying in the car. This might actually help him, as he blends right in front of Love 46. This will be for the 18th position overall. And actually, Love 46 goes right on by at turn number 1. As we settle in now, there's battles everywhere. Keith Wilfred here working on Volker Krebs. Wilfred, a brand new addition over to Rockefeller Racing. He's got a teammate right behind it, Avon Dorsey. And way up the road, Dalton Zavadil, Martin Grabigna. That's a fight onto the front stretch. And of course, Dalton Zavadil was the championship favorite for multiple weeks. Multiple weeks, even since maybe you could say race number 1 when he won at Detroit. I'd say he was an underdog for a few weeks, but the consistency came through for Dalton to keep himself in the battle for the points championship. Unfortunately, it was the final 2 races where he gave it all up to Ricardo Rico. A poor result at Germany. And, well, another poor result technically at Sebring, but by virtue of steering wheel issues, hardware issues, took him out of the championship fight with Ricardo Rico and gave it all up to Ricardo for the championship. Ricardo running 3rd in this race. Dalton currently running in the 7th spot. Pit stops underway for more drivers. Samuel Bernardi, one of them. Scott Angelo also in the pit lane. They have both made their stops. 9.75 seconds there for Scott. And for Samuel Bernardi, it's 10.85 seconds. Here comes the race leader to put Samuel 1 lap down. And Gustavo goes right on by. Dino Filippo all over Ricardo Rico. This could get fun. Right down to the fountain section. Got very close. And Dalton Zavadil, Martin Grabigna side by side through the, oh, that was close to the fountain. And across over there, Martin Grabigna, beautiful move. Gets right back by Dalton Zavadil for now. How long will that last? Here comes Dalton for turn 5. Pokes his nose to the inside, falls back. Very close between these two. I thought we were going to have a moment. Brian Kerr looks on, wishing he can catch it, hoping to catch it. As Dino Filippo undercomes pressure, actually puts pressure, of course, on Ricardo Rico, and undercomes pressure now from his teammate Marcos Saavedra down to turn number 9. All 3 drivers very close into the Tecate turn, and the Indy left here at turn 10. As Adam Ballard said earlier, it'll ring true once again. Hard to keep track of these incidents and these battles. Dino catches the inside wall there at the hairpin ever so slightly, and here are Martin Grabigna and Dalton Zavadil in lockstep formation as Joshua Lyon heads to the pit lane. Ricardo Rico, Dino Filippo, and Marcos Saavedra fighting turn 1. Dino moves over, blocks into the first corner, and holds on to that position over his teammate. Now through the fountain section. Dino gets real close once again to Ricardo Rico. An opportunity here, maybe in turn 4. And Ricardo down along the apex, contact with the wall for Dino Filippo, and Ricardo Rico got into him after the fact. Side by side they were, nose to tail now onto the backstretch. Pit stops, Thomas Rayleigh, Cleber Tavares on the pit lane. Nose to tail, 4 cars in a row. Ricardo Rico, Dino Filippo, Marcos Saavedra, Martin Grabigna. Actually, call that Scott Angelo at the back end of this train. Scott is in the 26th position, but the rest of these guys fighting for position. Here comes Saavedra trying to get on by. Teammates blocking here to turn 9. Dino on the inside. Marcos trying to go around the outside, and oh, that was close. Fantastic racing between this bunch. And this is for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, ladies and gentlemen. This is amazing stuff between teammates as well. Infinite Racing Services has got their hands full right now. Martin Grabigna, Dalton Zavadil, they're close as well as they fire onto the front stretch. What can Zavadil do down to the turn 1 braking zone? On board with Zavadil, looking to turn 1. Big cross up to the inside, and Zavadil's got the inside for the braking zone. Goes on through at turn 1. Makes that pass complete finally on Martin Grabigna. Beautiful move out of Dalton Zavadil. Hopefully he can keep that spot. As that now moves Martin Grabigna down 1 more position to 7th. Ryan Kerr, of course, in 8th. Chris Sanchez leading in Pro-Am currently as Miguel Colon comes down to the pit lane for service. And he is joined by, it looks like, Thomas Rayleigh. Actually, call that Rob Pendergast, maybe. And yes, I believe that was Pendergast in the 29th position, who is 13 laps down. Miguel Colon, though, exiting the pit lane. And he will join in line in 15th, no 16th position, right behind Billy Bowerman. Oh, problems. Joe Nagy around at a turn 5. Where is that? Is that turn 5? Oh, it is, and I think there was some help. That car is crabbing. Unfortunate issues here for Joe Nagy. Let's go back and take a look at it. For car 77 was a big hit when it's all said and done, racing with teammate Stacy Bertrand. And Stacy now in the 10th position, so Joe had moved up a bit, it looks like. We'll see what happens here between these two. Joe through turn 5 gets a tire barrier. Stacy nowhere to go. And a big, big hit. That is a huge hit to the barrier. On board with Joe Nagy. Gets into the outside barrier, gets hit there by Stacy Bertrand, back on board. Boom! That is a big hit to a concrete wall. And it makes complete sense now why that car was so damaged after the fact. That is so unfortunate for Joe. He had a great season. Was a big-time part of the amateur points battle, and unfortunately is now out of the race along with Joshua Lyon, who has just towed to the pit lane. Oh, trouble. Here's Joshua Lyon's trouble. This is turn 1. Ooh, tire barrier there. Broke the right rear toe link, and that's done. Oh, Chris Sanchez, wow! Sanchez is running in 9th, leading in Pro-Am. That is a huge moment. Thankfully, it doesn't take him out. And then we just had this moment between Ricardo Rico, Marco Saavedra, and Dino Filippa. Dino finally going to get a pass made here on Ricardo Rico into turn 9. And Dino does it around the outside, sets up for the inside at turn 10. What a beautiful pass there out of Dino Filippa. Amazing stuff from the Infinite Racing Services driver coach. That was simply perfect on the champion of all people. Let's watch that again. Watch the onboard here from Dino Filippa. This is turn 8. Sets all of it up. That holds Dino, of course, or Ricardo on the inside for the corner and sets up for this big drafting opportunity. Dino fades right, ends up looking left, and into turn 9 around the outside. Look how close they got. Amazing. Amazing stuff between those drivers. I'm just glad we get to watch these battles. These guys aren't racing for points anymore, just a bit of extra cash for the top 3 in each class. And you can tell it's gloves off. Gustavo Ariel looks like he's in for another big payday, leading the race by 4.6 seconds. Certainly, it's not over yet. Still half this race to go, but it's looking great. Sean Campbell, same thing, $200 for the position he runs in currently. You got to think he is sitting pretty right now. Got to be feeling comfortable. Certainly more comfortable than Dino Filippa, who's still got Ricardo Rico and Marco Saavedra just behind. And Marcos looking around trying to find a way by this 16 car of Ricardo Rico. This could get interesting between these two. Of course, one teammate's gone by. We saw how tough these teammates have been racing from Infinite Racing Services, Dino and Marcus. So Marco Saavedra may just be that much more aggressive on Ricardo to get back up to his teammate. Another pit stop. Billy Bowerman comes into the pit lane in car 302. He's had a little bit of trouble, a little bit of contact there to the nose and rear of that car. He'll take the fast repair. And hey, the conversation's not over. If you're out in YouTube chat, we don't have a driver of the day to talk about today, but you can give your opinions on a track you would like to see on the North American Racing League calendar. Leave your thoughts below in the YouTube chat of where you'd like to see these drivers race next. What kind of track would you like to see? I know one that I haven't mentioned, but that we have raced at before in the Porsche Cup Series, and I think even maybe once in GT3, is the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. And I think any of the Rovals on iRacing, for that matter, would be pretty cool to see, whether it's Las Vegas, maybe Homestead. There's a lot of great ones out there. Kansas would be a bit of a meme race, but you know what? We did it at Monza. Why not do it at Kansas? And certainly Montreal, Twin Ring Motegi, a couple of great options. I'm curious, Adam, do you mean Motegi the oval or Motegi the full course, Motegi the road course? I'm curious. And hey, Box, if you're interested in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, you got to tune into the Noble Can-Am Series this Sunday evening when we go to Montreal with late model stock cars and super late models in kind of a Trans Am style race. New Hampshire road course, wouldn't that be something? The field is spreading out a little bit as Bernardi comes onto the pit lane, and that looks like a lot of left rear damage for that car. And sure enough, it looks like Bernardi's been in the fence somewhere. That is trouble. He's been limping that car around for a while. Was it here maybe where he gets the outside wall? Oh, right there, turn 8. Drifted through the corner. That is a big hit. And that is Samuel Bernardi's hopes dashed. The road course at Twin Ring Motegi, that would be cool. Marcos Saavedra, Ricardo Rico, battle for 4th. By the way, Chris Sanchez still leading in Pro-Am. Your Am leader continues to be... Actually, I shouldn't say continues. It is currently Bjorn Stange from Amateur leading in this race. Martin Grabigna still just behind Dalton Zafadil. Not much of a gap there at all for the 6th position. As Phil Paderka comes onto the pit lane. We can't go too far from this fight, though, between Marcos Saavedra and Ricardo Rico. Back on board with Saavedra. Down through the gears, turn 1, right up over the curbing. And I'm impressed that these guys are taking as much curbing as they are this evening, especially here at the Fountain. They're getting up on that curb and really abusing the curbs. I'm really impressed. Right there at turn 4 as well. Every bit of practicing I've done, no matter what car I've brought here, if you touch those curbs on the inside, you're along for the ride. Whether it's one of the rumble strips or the actual anti-cuts there on the inside of the corner, it is a really, really tricky place to actually use the curbs here at Long Beach. The big ones, of course, are the inside of, turn 5, for example, turn 9, turn 10. Those ones really get the car upset. And the really big kind of tabletop curbs at turn 1, turn 4, and those, I think, really just shock the suspension in one big go. And it's difficult when you come back down from them to keep that car under control. Here's Love 46 in the pit lane. Red Bull Ring, Austria, a fantastic choice. As here we go, side by side, Marcos Saavedra had it, loses it back out of the corner, and that was on the front? No, that was out of turn 11, the hairpin. Wow. Let's look at it one more time. On board with Marcos Saavedra, watch this as they come into the hairpin in just a moment. He sets it all up in turns 9 and 10, gets a run. And this is cool to see as well. Marcos Saavedra taking some extra chances. He did get that one win on the season. I think it was at Brazil maybe, and right on through there. That was never going to work. But it's good to see Marcos getting a little bit more aggressive here, taking a few more chances as he races with Ricardo Rico through turn 6. It's good to see these drivers getting aggressive, taking chances in this race, taking opportunities, creating opportunities as well. And in particular, these two drivers are actually backing up to Dalton Zafadil and Martin Gramigna. This could be interesting as they head down to turn 9 this time. A couple of changes for position behind as Fabio Zamperlini is over Miguel Colon and Bjorn Stange. Bjorn giving that spot up to Miguel Colon. Trouble, Kleber Tavares at a turn 11, loops it. But he gets back going. That's actually right in front of Ricardo Rico. Boy, how this could play into things. The amateur champion alongside the pro champion down the front stretch into turn number 1. And Marco Saavedra are going to go after this braking zone, but not close enough to do anything with it. Can't get by that lap car just yet. Inside of 20 minutes to go. We're on lap 23 of an expected 38. Here we go. An opportunity for Marcos to get by the slower car of Kleber Tavares. It's weird to say the slower lap car of Kleber, as he won half of the season in the amateur class this past season. Won the championship. But things are a bit different here in the bonus race for sure at Long Beach. Martin Gramigna is still on Dalton Zavadil at a half-second apart. And Volker Krebs was just slow out of the corner. Here comes the 888 of Ryan Kerr to go by. Ryan Kerr running in 8th position, blinking a little bit. And hey, Scott Angelo, Ilya Speaker, this could be a fun fight. This is for the 21st position and 20th position on board of Scott Angelo. Ilya Speaker slows down and heads on into the pit lane in a big time moment for Ilya's race out of that that amateur class. Very important here to get the pit stop right. As Ilya works down the pit lane, we're going to go Pit Stops TV side by side for just a brief moment. Going to grab a drink of water. I suggest you guys do the same and come right on back for the final 15 minutes of this race, the bonus race for the North American Racing League Porsche Cup season number 3 from Long Beach Street Circuit. It has been so much fun already. We have so much more racing to go. Don't go anywhere. The race continues on at the Long Beach Street Circuit for the North American Racing League bonus race in Porsche Cup season number 3. Gustavo Ariel continues to lead this evening inside of 14 minutes to go, and we join you once again from the virtual streets of Long Beach to take a look here at your race leader headed into turn number 1, not looking back whatsoever, but Dino Filippa heads into the pit lane for position number 2 during this pit cycle. Most everybody has now pitted, now including Dalton Zavidil and Martin Grabigna from their ongoing fight. Sean Campbell now will come flying through the field once again. And just the top 2 remain yet to pit as here goes Dino Filippa out of his box, 8.23 seconds. Martin Grabigna stops just ahead of Dalton Zavidil. Let's see where these two sort out. Zavidil should go first. No, the other way around. A much quicker stop from Martin Grabigna. Jumps back ahead of the 24 car, but we'll see who has more fuel and who ends this race ahead of the other. Thanks for joining us once again here at Pit Stop TV. We certainly do appreciate it. Just a handful of laps remain. In fact, it should be 10 laps to go this time by for our race leader. Although it should be in the pit lane, I'd imagine, for Gustavo Ariel, and yes, sure enough, it will be. One more look at the track map coming into this evening, of course, for the Long Beach Street Circuit. We now have an iRacing Open Wheel Series fast lap time at nearly 1 minute flat. 1 minute, 1 second. For Nanami Hashimoto from Japan. Casey Kerwin has the GTP Hypercar lap record in the BMW. And of course now we add the Cadillac to that category. Maybe one day we'll see it here in the North American Racing League. I wouldn't put your money on it though. Scott Reiser just loves these GT style cars, and boy, it really does give us some great racing. Back track side, you see inside of 12 minutes to go, Marco Saavedra now out of the pit lane. An 8.1 second stop, one of the fastest, along with our race leader who has been saving for laps on end, Gustavo Ariel, 7.92 seconds in the pit box. Sean Campbell gets by Dino Filippa and Marco Saavedra, and Ricardo Rico had to take a little bit of extra fuel compared to the Infinite Racing Services drivers and ends up 5th behind both of them. Martin Grabigna now putting some gap here on Dalton Zavidil. He has actually worked up a nice little gap for that 6th position. That's your pro class for the most part. Fabio Zamperlini runs 8th. Down in Pro-Am, it's all Miguel Colon by 10 seconds out front of Thomas Rayleigh. It has calmed down quite a bit there, so our attention kind of moves on over to the amateur class, and it's all Kleber Tavares running 13th position. The next amateur driver is over 20 seconds back in Bjorn Stange. So each of our lead fights have really split up, but there's still plenty of time to go and plenty of money to be decided as Avon Dorsey puts pressure here on Bjorn Stange. They've got Dino Filippa just behind. Oh, that was close. Look at Avon Dorsey a little bit out wide compared to the 25-year-old Bjorn Stange. That black and yellow shut up and drive it machine. The green roof for Avon Dorsey falling back a little bit on that straightaway. Love 46, meanwhile, on Kleber Tavares, they're in turn 6. You see how close they are. And this could spell trouble for the amateur leader. He's got plenty of time back to Bjorn Stange, for sure. But you certainly don't want to give him any more time than you have to. And Love 46 being all over the back end of this 22 car could be a little bit difficult for Kleber to deal with. The Epic Fails Motorsports driver, deep into turn 9, stays ahead of Love 46. And how about Epic Fails Motorsports? I know Rob Pendergast is down there at 29th, an early exit for him. But this team has come from nowhere to now be 9th and 13th. No, 9th and 12th currently in this bonus race. What a day for those guys. Thomas Rayleigh, Kleber Tavares, Rob Pendergast, they really do belong here in the North American Racing League, and hopefully we see each of them and new teammates for sure for seasons to come. Here goes Love 46, though, on Kleber Tavares. And Love 46 takes that spot right away. That's for 12th. Trouble, Marco Saavedra, Dino Filippa, Ricardo Rico and Marco Saavedra. Oh, and Dalton Zavadil nearly gets into Marco Saavedra with the rejoin. Let's take a look back at what just happened to these two fighting for 4th position. And actually, it's going to come from a lap car. I think that might have been Avon Dorsey at the apex. Take a look at it. There's Marco Saavedra in the orange and blue number 1 car. Down at the apex of turn 11, goes out wide, cuts back across. Avon Dorsey gives him a tap, and right around he goes. Ricardo Rico gets into him a little bit. Oh, and that was bad. Marcos, I think, panicked a little bit trying to get back into the race. Even came right across the nose there of Dalton Zavadil and made it a real close moment. That is huge. Avon Dorsey, that little bit of contact to 4th place Marcos Saavedra at the time really changes things up. Dalton Zavadil now 6th and right behind Marco Saavedra. Martin Gramigna has suddenly dropped out of the race. Philip Padurka back into the pit lane. This is troublesome for him. Looks like it could be a damage repair potentially for the 70 car. And hey, Chris Sanchez now. A Pro-Am driver all over Thomas Rayleigh, while Miguel Colon has got Pro-Am locked down right now. 2nd and 3rd are up for grabs, and this is a difference of $25 between these two. It's 100 for 2nd, 75 for 3rd. So Chris Sanchez, Thomas Rayleigh racing for $25 between them. 7 minutes to go in this race between these two, and look at Chris Sanchez. Oh, and look at Thomas Rayleigh giving up lots of time on corner exit. That is big time for this fight. They fly underneath the flag stand. Thomas still has the advantage for the time being, but for how much longer? Down the front stretch into turn number 1. Chris Sanchez on the inside. He's going to have the advantage for turn 1. Goes right on through. Now Thomas Rayleigh has to regroup and get back after that 3 car. It's going to be tight these last couple of laps. 6.5 minutes to go. Thomas locks up there in the fountain. And that, I think, is that battle over. Chris Sanchez driving away now from Thomas Rayleigh. That is big. $25 kind of big. Adam Ballard was initially nominating Avon Dorsey for driver of the day before all of that calamity ensued in turn 11. And now the entire field is starting to spread out once more. Dalton Zavadil, though, still within a 2nd of Marco Saavedra. This fight, not done. 7/10 of a second, call it 3/4. Down to turn 1 once again, back heavy on the brakes. 5.5 minutes left. And it really has been a pleasure. One thing I need you guys to do out in the YouTube chat, let Scott Reister know how much you appreciate not only the North American Racing League as a whole, but also this bonus race. There's a lot of money up for grabs, and it comes from the league. It is such a cool thing to see an all-star race like this, virtually an all-star race like this, take place in this kind of road racing league. This is a really special thing. And I think everything going on in the North American Racing League is very, very cool. Has to be bottled up and kept for seasons to come, years to come, because this North American Racing League is one of, if not the best, in all of iRacing road racing. And we are so, so lucky here at Pit Stop TV to carry coverage of this series, of all of you wonderful drivers and teams. I know it's been kind of an off season for us in the booth. We look to rectify that next season. But let Scott Reister know, whether it's in Discord or here in the YouTube chat, let Scott know how much you appreciate this series, what you want to see next maybe. Of course, GT3 is coming in the fall. I wish we had more information. I'm sure we'll tease that in the next couple of months. Heck, maybe Scott can get up here and dish a couple of details potentially. Who knows? What you're watching currently on track is Chris Sanchez and Thomas Rayleigh, the closest battle on the track as they run. It's also worth focusing here on Gustavo Ariel. We have kind of ignored our race leader out front of everybody by 11 seconds all night long. But how about the fact that he is up by 11 seconds over Sean Campbell, Dino Filippa, Ricardo Rico, Marco Saavedra, your top 5. He is 30 seconds ahead of Dalton Zavriel, 40 seconds ahead of Fabio Zamperlini. What a day this driver is putting together. There's a fight, though, for 5th. Marco Saavedra finally has slipped up, and Dalton Zavriel has gone on through. How long will this position last for Dalton? It's hard to say. Let's take a quick look back at what happened. It happened in turn 9 between these two drivers, as this was just a pass waiting to get set up. On board, and oh, wow! Marcus Saavedra had been completely turned around by a Pro-Am driver we didn't even catch. Was that Avon Dorsey again? It was. Oh my goodness. Avon Dorsey and Marcus Saavedra have now had 2 consecutive run-ins, and that time Avon got in deep, hits the wall, and takes Marcos along with him. What a huge mistake there. That cost Marcos that 5th position. Thankfully, it's not a paid position at that point. They're out of the money. It's really just for bragging rights, but oh my goodness. That is so unfortunate. Of course, that was that car we saw pit behind those 2 leaders in the distance. And you can see Avon Dorsey now back on the racetrack. I think it was a drive-through penalty he was serving as Billy Bowerman now comes into the pit lane. I'm sure it's a similar deal there, maybe some damage repairs as well. It's been a rough night for some. Oh, and our race leader has been in the wall significantly. Gustavo has got a lot of damage now on that car. What happened here? Is it going to affect him? Where did this happen? It happened a little bit earlier. Is it down here? No, it was a little earlier than turn 9. Was it turn 8? It looks like it was. This is Gustavo Ariel through turn number 8. Oh, inside or outside wall there, caught the tire pack and turned in nose first into the outside wall. That was a big hit for our race leader. That is a big problem for him. He is nursing it though. Still 9 seconds back to Sean Campbell. Not really a worry yet. If he has another mistake, I think you got to get concerned. As you can see, he is fighting this race car. I think it's white flag this time by for Gustavo. And sure enough, white silk in the air from Barney, the flagman here high atop the Long Beach street course. Gustavo is giving up just a little bit more time, but he still has 9 seconds to nurse back to our race leader. Saavedra and Zavriel side by side once again through turn 9. How does this end for these two? Can Dalton get back to him in turn 11? I don't think it's going to happen here. Nearly got there right at the apex. This battle far from over. No! Dalton Zavriel lights up the rears, gives up 2 seconds and more. Oh, he's already hitting himself for that one. You can see him swerving down the front stretch. He knows what he just gave away. Leading Pro-Am, it's all Miguel Colon. Just one more lap to go for car 87. He's got 8 seconds back to Chris Sanchez, who's got 4 seconds back to Thomas Rayleigh. Those guys split apart by quite a bit. And an amateur, it is a 26-second gap for Kleber Tavares back to Bjorn Stange as Gustavo Ariel works through our final couple of corners here at Long Beach. He made it a little bit interesting there at the end. Caught the turn 8 wall by himself. But nothing is going to deter car 21 from victory this evening. Gustavo Ariel is going to victory lane at Long Beach in the North American Racing League bonus race with a drift across the line. Checkers fly for the Texaco Racing by TK driver out of Brazil. Sean Campbell across the line. Kleber Tavares across the line. He solidifies it for amateur. And down in Pro-Am, it's all Miguel Colon coming through turn number 8. He has just a few corners left to go. Payouts up front. Gustavo takes $300. Sean Campbell, $200. Dino Filippa, $100. Miguel Colon here is racing for $200 as you see a fight behind Volker Krebs and Samuel Bernardi. Not for position, but Bernardi was certainly making it look exciting regardless. $100 will go to Chris Sanchez in second place in Pro-Am, 75 to Thomas Rayleigh. And down in Amateur, the payouts are $100, $75, and $50, I believe, for Kleber Tavares, Bjorn Stange, and Keith Wilfred, top 3 this evening in the North American Racing League bonus race. There's Chris Sanchez. Here comes Thomas Rayleigh. Stacy Bertrand, an amazing run today. Only that one mistake at turn 5, but it was a big one. Stacy comes on through, goes 11th. Love 46 follows up in 12th. The two ladies of the North American Racing League doing fantastic today, and I think a lot to hang their hat on and certainly to build on for next season in the GT3 cars. Congratulations, of course, go out, though, to Gustavo Ariel as, we have had the same issue, it looks like, at the checkered flag. I think it's a session setting issue, maybe. We will roll with it as we are able. Looks like, unfortunately, that's going to mess with our graphics here at the back end, but congratulations to all of our drivers this evening. A really, really solid race. Congratulations to some of the surprises there in the top 3. Certainly some big payouts to you guys, and it's just good to see a solid night of racing take place here at Long Beach. Now, the winner portion will be a little bit messed up because of the graphics that I think are taking place because of an infinite time left, potentially. I will look into that, I think, for next season. But Gustavo Ariel, a big win over Sean Campbell and Dino Filippa. Amazing stuff here through the entire top 10. You see the full Pro-Am top 3. And all of their payouts, of course, lining their pockets. If we can get each class top 2, by the way, we'll talk to each of you briefly. It will have to stay brief. That is 6 drivers that I'd have to talk to. I do apologize. But you can see the full top 10 there. Miguel Colon, Chris Sanchez, Thomas Rayleigh, your Pro-Am top 3. And, well, I'll have to verbally tell you the rest. Stacy Bertrand comes home 11th, Love 46, 12th. And your amateur top 3 are Kleber Tavares, Bjorn Stange, and Keith Wilfred. Unfortunately, graphics have broken down, and so I think, Scott, this is a learning moment for us. We had this at Sebring as well. I don't know if there's a session maybe that is setting it to an infinite time left. I hate to kind of break the fourth wall for a second, but this is a new one for me, and yeah, it's at the time remaining, I think, to an infinite number. Sean, give me one moment. I will get you the Discord invite link. And there that is. So to break the fourth wall for just a brief moment, it does look like we're having some graphic difficulties, but we'll work with it as we are able. And we'll bring in Gustavo Ariel to talk to him after a fantastic day of racing here at Long Beach Street Circuit. It really was a picture-perfect day. The sun high in the sky, and Gustavo Ariel far out front. Gustavo, how do you get it done? Another big day for you here in the North American Racing League, winning the bonus race, $300 as well. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, it feels good, but besides the money, of course, it's a good prize. I think on this kind of leagues that we race, it's the best prize pool we have. So I'm really grateful to win some races on the season, to finish the season in this way. So yeah, it's very good to win again. And this is a very challenging track. I drive here on the Pask on the beginning of the year, but we did a lot of things, and I think I forgot how to race here on the first laps. I was crashing every single wall, so yeah, it was difficult to get used to it. But then I start to do corner by corner, and I start to be patient on the throttle, to short shift, and yeah, that's the way to drive here, to be careful on the curb, be careful on the throttle. So yeah, it was really nice race. I did a lot of qualifying simulations in the practice, to prepare myself to the qualifying. I saw some guys do like half a second slower. I was thinking maybe they hiding a bit because Dino and the other guys it's very fast. So I was thinking about it. And when I did a good lap on the qualifier, I saw, oh my god, I'm really fast. So yeah, just try to put my race pace. Since the beginning, I did some mistakes because I did only a few laps to the race setup. So I tried just to maintain my car on the track, be careful on the traffic. So yeah, that's really nice race. I think 3 laps to go. I hit the wall very hard, trying to do a good lap. So yeah, that's the only mistake on the race. And I think apart from this mistake, I think it's a really nice drive. I don't like this circuit, to be honest, but very used to it to drive here on the Pasc. So yeah, I think maybe some corners I was gaining like 1 or 2 tenths from these guys because I have more hours on this track, I think, from any other driver compared. So yeah, that's why I think I just put myself on the white lines, and yeah, I think that's why I did great today.
Well, it was certainly a fantastic time watching go toe-to-toe there at the start, but you left this field behind very quickly. You've been one of these top drivers in this series for a long time. Is there any advice that you might have to an aspiring driver, whether they're in the Pro-Am class, Am class, or maybe joining North American Racing League for the first time in the fall for our GT3 season upcoming? Is there any advice you have to one of these guys that wants to get fast like you?
Well, it's a pleasure to hear that, and well, I think the main thing is to focus like on 1 or 2 cars on iRacing, because iRacing is a very tricky simulator, and yeah, you need a lot of time to get used to it. So you need to be very careful on the throttle, on the brakes, on the inputs overall. So compared to any other sim, I think you need to have a friend to drive together, to compare together. Because if you drive alone, it's very difficult to develop your driving, you know. I think if you do coaching, we have some good coaches here, like me, like Dino, like other guys. So yeah, compare yourself to a top driver. Try to watch some onboards, try to watch some streaming at Twitch. Pay attention on the inputs, on the way the guys put the car on track, like close to the white lines, the way he jumped on the curb. Some guys lift when jump the curb and the car goes smoother on the curb. So a lot of little tricks. But I think if you watch streaming, if you train properly, if you train like 1 hour, 2 hours per day, it's already good. And try to focus 1 or 2 categories per season. That's the way to go, I think. And yeah, I'm really grateful to be on the top level today, because I struggled a lot in the past. I have a lot of years on sim racing, almost my entire life. So yeah, on iRacing it's a very challenging, and you need a lot of patience and a lot of preparation to do better. So yeah, I'm really grateful to finish the season this way. Ricardo is the champion, so congratulations to him. Next season we're going to drive wheel to wheel again, and I want to say a big thank you to Scott, to North American Racing League. This is the best league that I've ever driven besides the Pasc. So yeah, I'm really grateful to win again and to be part of this amazing league. I want to say a big thank you to my team, Texaco Racing by Tony Canan, the sponsorships, Texaco Lubrificantes, HB, Logitech, Toyota Gazoo Racing Brasil, Simpad for the amazing cockpits, and Fonseca Boni Consultoria for all the support. Thank you so much, Scott, all the American Racing League North American Racing League guys, and the Pit Stop TV on the amazing show. I watched the race later on the YouTube. So yeah, really grateful to win again, and see you on the next season.
Congratulations, Gustavo. Good talking to you.
Thank you.
Gustavo Ariel with a big win this evening in the bonus race. Let's move on down the line to Sean Campbell, who ends up second in 2 different races. That's Miguel Colon. That will be Sean Campbell. 2 second-place finishes this evening. Maybe not quite what you wanted, but you did end up in the big show. Second place, $200 to line your pockets. That's got to feel pretty good at the end of the day, Sean.
I'm tired. Yeah, it does feel really good. I was very nervous, even going into the start of the season for P Cup. I was just nervous I was going to be off the pace. I was excited for the learning experience that this car was, and I'm happy that I've got good at it. Or at least, not 10 seconds off of Gustavo good.
Well, yeah, and you certainly showed that you are, I think, belonging amongst the top drivers in this series. Second place this evening, ahead of guys like Dino Filippo, Ricardo Rico, Marco Saavedra. So do we see you come back in the fall with GT3 cars as opposed to this Porsche Cup car?
Unfortunately, it's the reason that I wasn't able to do so many races this season is because there was a scheduling conflict that I only realized existed literally, 45 minutes before the first race. It was at the exact same time as another race, which was very sad. But I'll check the schedule because it was a lot of fun, and GT3 is my stomping ground, I'll say. And I would love to do it if there's time.
Well, it would certainly be good to have you back along for the ride in the fall, Sean. It was a pleasure having you here this evening. I gotta ask, there's some really cool decals in the car. Tell us about who you race for, who you race with.
I race for Race Glitch now. This happened in May. Good team. Honestly, I haven't been around for long enough to get the full experience, but everybody's nice and everybody's fast. It's a good environment.
We're certainly glad to have you here at Pit Stop TV in the North American Racing League, talking to us after the North American Racing League bonus race. $200 has got to feel good, and hopefully we'll see you in some GT3 races here in the fall.
Hopefully.
Sean Campbell from second place this evening. That leaves us to the Pro-Am class. Miguel Colon wins this evening in Pro-Am, taking home a cool $200 himself. And Miguel, it was a long season of racing. You come up short for the championship, but you show out first place here in the bonus race. How does that feel?
Oh man, it felt good, at least to close out the season in a high note, winning in Sebring and then coming here and, be able to qualify in the pole and maintain the whole pace through the whole race. I got away with the win. That's a good feeling to close the season.
And Miguel, of course, it was a long race this evening, 50 minutes here at Long Beach. It's no easy task, but I don't see a scratch on that car. How do you keep the car between the walls and not in the walls at some point over the night?
Well, I would say I had a couple close calls today, and one of them actually gave me a meatball flag. It was like a barely brush in the first corner before I pit. But the car was not too bad to drive it back to the pit lane without, losing much time. And then I was like, okay, let me back off maybe 10 more feet in my braking point in the area to just make it safe. At that point, I was just trying to manage the gap with the other guys and try not to push to be fast, just to keep it constant out of the walls.
Well, Miguel, it certainly worked this evening. First place in the Pro-Am class. That's got to feel good. 8th overall, just to a bunch of pro guys at the front, and I think you'll be joining those pro guys next season. You're quick. You belong up there. Congratulations.
Thank you guys. Thank you for putting this together during the whole season. To Scott Reister, Pit Stop TV, the North American Racing League. I also want to give thank you to our community from Puerto Rico, Sim Racing Puerto Rico. My sponsor, Sergio Machine Shop, so I appreciate guys.
Congratulations once again to Miguel Colon. Once again to Miguel Colon. I think I mixed those words up there. But once again to Miguel Colon, congratulations to Car 87. Chris Sanchez goes second place this evening in Pro-Am, and Chris certainly was lights out from the drop of the green. What happened though there at the start? There was a big jumble in turn one.
Oh, I didn't know. I was kind of just trying to stay out of trouble. And then, I don't know, I think I might have got hit in the rear. I'm not sure. I have to look at the replay.
Now, I do have to ask, I don't think I've ever asked one of you Australians before, what time is it for you guys down in Australia and New Zealand right now?
Oh, it's perfect. It's 1 p.m. So I wake up, I have breakfast, have a little bit of a warm-up, and then jump straight into the race.
And what is that like? Usually, of course, sim racers tend to race at night if you work during the day conventionally, go home at night, whatever. But how does that work in your daily schedule? I mean, this whole season, you were in tip-top shape racing against the best of this league. You got moved up classes mid-season. How does that work with your time commitment throughout the week?
Yeah, it gets a bit challenging sometimes when there's there's a lot to do, but it's okay because I tend to practice during the night, and then on these days I'll just take the day off, and
Well, we certainly love a Friday off. So congratulations, P2 here. $100 for your pocket. That's got to feel pretty good to end the season on. Hopefully we'll see you back in the fall in a GT3 car.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. That is Chris Sanchez from second place in Pro-Am. Going on down the line, a lot of drivers to talk to. How about Clever Tavares, your amateur champion this season, an amateur bonus race winner? Clever, how does it feel? Another $100 to your total this season, a race win. Every race since those top three were promoted, you have gone to victory lane. How do you do it?
Hey Andrew, it's a lot of tracks indeed. This race was a mess, but yes, I got lucky another time. I'm very proud and grateful.
I think it's far from luck. You have got some serious skill, and is it Epic Fails Motorsports as a whole team that's helping elevate you to this level?
Yes, for sure. The team's the main reason of what I'm racing this series, and the main reason of why I'm improving my skill level.
Well, it's good to see here in the bonus race with North American Racing League. Clever, another congratulations. And I actually have to ask, so there was a little bit of conversation at the end of Sebring last week. What is, now that we're through the entire season, of course, what is the proper pronunciation of your first name?
The easiest way to know it's like clever with B. So the synonymous of smart, clever with B, clever. So it's easy.
Well, there we go. So I'm glad we had that right for most of the season. Congratulations, another race win for you. Hopefully we'll see you back in the fall.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for another broadcasting, and congratulations that with your work. See you.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here, and thanks for making this league a great league. That is Clever Tavares from first place in amateur class, 13th overall, by the way. And we go on down the line to our final driver that we'll talk to all season long, Bjorn Stange from Shut Up and Drive It, second place in the bonus race. What was it like from your point of view this evening, Bjorn?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, I could not be happier with the finish.
Well, I think that's certainly probably the best, most concise way to put it. When it's all said and done, fourth place overall, top half of the field, second place in class, and I think a quiet day overall for sure. It seemed like the seas kind of parted for you really early in the race. How early did you settle into that kind of just turn laps and grind kind of mode?
Yeah, probably around lap 3. I knew that there was going to be a lot of attrition this race, you know, being a very tight street circuit. So my strategy was just play it safe. I maybe was a little too conservative at the beginning, and I let a lot of people by at lap 1 on the start, but I kept it out of the wall. Didn't really have any major incidents, so kept it clean, and it paid off.
Well, Bjorn, we didn't talk to you a whole lot this season, but you were always in the conversation, almost always in the top 5 in making our social media posts at the end of the week. Congratulations. Second place on the podium. I think $75 to your credit. It's got to feel good, and a good way to end this season as a whole. Hopefully we're talking to you in the fall in GT3 cars.
Thank you so much.
You're on stage with a fantastic run here to close things out in 2023, at least in the summer portion of racing. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us here at Pit Stop TV over the course of this season. It all comes to a close just like that. Detroit, Italy, Barber, Norway, Monza, Brazil, Germany, Sebring, and the bonus race here at Long Beach Street Circuit. And it has all come to a close. We don't have official dates, we don't have official tracks, but we know that we're going green flag racing in GT3 cars later this year in the North American Racing League in the fall. Don't miss it. Get into the North American Racing League at NorthAmericanRacingLeague.com. If you have not yet signed up, do so. Although I don't think signups are technically open just yet, but keep an eye out, I should say. Bookmark it on your local internet browser, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, whatever. If you use Edge, by all means, bookmark it on Edge, and be ready in the fall to sign up for the North American Racing League GT3 Series. It'll be season number 5 later this year. You do not want to miss it. It is going to be a spectacle for sure. Before we get there, of course, we have a lot of other broadcasts here at Pit Stop TV, though. And here is a look at them. Saturday evening, I know it's still kind of Saturday and Sunday, but anyways, believe me, Saturday evening we're going racing at the Atlanta Motor Speedway with the Shake and Bake Racing Butt Kicker Cup Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway. NASCAR Cup Cars at Atlanta, that's going to be a lot of fun. The brand new Atlanta 28 degrees of banking. It's going to be a sight to see for sure. And then Sunday evening, we had some talk earlier about Montreal, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We are going there in late model stock cars and super late models on Sunday evening, July 9th. At 8:15 Eastern. Before Monday, we go to Martinsville Speedway with the Advanced Legends Cup. Now, for Short Track Monday is brought to you by Elite Performance Industries, a new program we're starting with EPI. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Thanks so much for joining us throughout the course of this season. A big thank you to our partners that have made all of this possible. A look at them now on the left side of your screen. Infinite Racing Services, Dino Filippa, Marcos Saavedra providing setups to the amateur class all season long, coaching for a cheap price, I believe $15 an hour or a session. Dino really putting himself out there for a very affordable number. Of course, Baradness has their coaching services, their team services, everything else over at Baradness. Victorum, our new scoring partner here for the North American Racing League, and of course, longtime partner, Screw Compressor Service Incorporated. Thank you so much to our partners here at Pit Stop TV that make this possible week in, week out, day in, day out. Whiplash Media, SimCams, ATVO, and CC's Business. That will do it for us this season. Thanks so much for watching, and a big thank you to those who make it happen behind the scenes. In audio, ATVO, Whiplash Media, SimCams, OBS, and iRacing.com. We'll see you in the next one, hopefully Saturday evening for the Shake and Bake Racing Butt Kicker Cup Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll see you there.